Hey button pushers, my name is Nick and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So, to recap so far, we have joined the Lotless, we have burnt the entire world to the ground, we have become a priest, and we have made the old faith the only faith. We completely eradicated the new faith. The Empire won in the end, which we kind of needed them to, and there was a lot of death and suffering. However, this time I am going to need to put my new faith hat on. We're going to do the Path of the Priest once more, only this time we are driving the new faith up, which is good, which is kind of what I want. Throughout while I was playing the game, new faith was always my preferred religion of choice in this game, which made it a little bit awkward in the last playthrough when I had to drive it into the ground. So I'm thinking a lot of this is probably going to be the same-ish as the old faith. There'll be the same kind of setup, but then we'll choose different responses. I restarted the game from youth because childhood and adolescence, obviously I was going for priestly anyway, so that would have been exactly the same, and I've just got up to the point where I've become a priest. So, I am now a priest. I've preached my revelation to the crowd outside the college as it was being shut down, about how the twins had shown me where the world was basically aflame. And then I got arrested for preaching, not heresy, for preaching outside of my lot because I was a commoner. No, this is my introduction to priestly life, about our prayers and our teachings, and most importantly, the teachings of Isatius, which, as a new faith believer, is pooey. But fear not, people, because Patriarch Luke has arrived, and he wishes to teach us about the new faith, which our priest teachers aren't that happy about, but I'm at the lecture anyway, because I want to learn, and I want to be new faith. So yeah, basically, Patriarch Luke has come to teach us about the new faith. Our old faith teachers, priests, mentors, they don't like it because obviously old faith for them is the only faith. They don't like this rise of the new faith. They find it heretical, but my path is clear, my destiny has spoken, and new faith all the way. If you want to see all of this in full, by the way, so I know I'm going to be skipping bits a lot in this. If you want to see it all in full and you didn't see the old faith playthrough, go back and watch that. I mean, for your own enjoyment, but also I could do with the watch hours. So we're going to support Patriarch Luke, which knocks down 5 willpower, which is okay, and improves my eloquence and diplomacy. So I decided to study the criticism of the lots further and dedicate a research paper to the subject. Now I'm guessing, because before I did reject the doubt and strengthen your belief, the teacher loved it, and he used my work as the benchmark of excellency among everyone. So I'm assuming that's not going to be the case this time, but we'll find out. Every man makes mistakes. Anyone can misinterpret or misunderstand something. The notion burns in your brain. So uncomfortable, it hurts. Pursued by this thought, you flee to the seminary library in search of answers. Painstakingly pore over book after book. The accounts of Isatius' life are inconsistent and often contradict one another. One thing is mentioned in each of them, however. He was a disciple of the Elder, and he transcribed the will of the twins. No book in this library ever casts doubt upon this. So just as a very, very brief summary, Isatius was a prophet of the twins. He was their favoured disciple while they were on Earth, but he was the one that wrote about the lots and everything, and the new faith is focused on a belief that Isatius was mistaken, or that he invented the lots. It wasn't given to him by the twins. And I like that theory. And so you begin researching this on your own. The first thing you do is visit the Library of Eterna, the largest of them all. Large enough to find a different outlook on Isatius' life, and in the end, you do find it. It turns out Isatius based the concepts in his writings upon worldly laws, the divisions between estates and classes, and the laws of the Empire, but the twins had pronounced it the heavenly kingdom. Therefore, any critique of the divine lots must be sought in the laws of the Empire. By the end of the semester, your research paper is done. You hand it to Father Jeremiah. You have a number of theses. Nobles of the mantle are ordinary people who've decided to change their lot. Priests cannot have families or bear children, and any commoner or noble may elect to accept the lot of clergy. The differences between estates and classes are becoming blurred, as are the boundaries that separate the lots. Estates may change, and so the lots may change, and new ways to change one's lot may soon appear. You back this notion up with the growing authority of industrialists among the commoners. Some of them are wealthier than the nobles of the mantle, or even the nobles of the sword. They manage factories, and so they wield power like a noble would. Bit by bit, word by word, you prove that the words of Isatius are not unquestionable. In fact, they must be questioned. The Empire is changing. People's lives are changing, and so the divine law must change as well. The lots are already being defied in our ordinary lives, left and right, you conclude. So, is it sensible to preach them so fervently while turning a blind eye to the changes taking place around us? Father Jeremiah grows furious as he thumbs through your paper. He rips it apart and punishes you for showing a weakness of faith. Patriarch Luke will continue to hold yearly lectures at the seminary, but you're barred from attending his visits ever again. You have no free time now. You spend every day at the scriptorium, transcribing the teachings of Isatius, page after page, book after book. Well, bastards. So, Shield of the New Faith. I have sided with the New Faith. Damn right I am. I killed the New Faith and raised up the Old Faith in the last playthrough. Admittedly, it was a rocky road, and I had to restart a few times, but I did it. And this time, I can do it again. Just, yeah, the other way around. The Black Book. So, Jen. You'll remember Jen from when we were a child. She comes back to the church. She's been on a pilgrimage. And we end up going to a museum. A kind of priestly museum. And in there we find, obviously, all sorts of priestly trinkets. But the last exhibit we see is a black book, which belonged to Shah Malanadas, who was a mage who was ultimately killed for being a mage, but he led a war, and he created a big old mess. But it was his book of spells, basically. But that upset Jen, because she has a friend who just so happens to be a witch, and she doesn't know what to do. Does she report her friend to the Inquisition? Or does she not report her friend to the Inquisition? Or does she do the third option that I can't remember? So let's go find out. So I think I'm going to do the same as I did last time, so tell no one about Alice, because I can't remember what the New Faith standing is on witches. I personally don't have a problem with witches. If they're being a shit and they're using their magic for evil deeds, then sure, but Alice is a singer. She's not really using her magic at all, and if she is, it's just to make people cheer, so there's really no harm there. So we'll tell no one about her. We'll get Jen to go and have a little quiet word and say, hang on a sec, this is a bit dangerous what you're doing at the moment. And she ends up joining a travelling troupe and lives. The alternative is she burns in a fire. So we'll tell no one. And she gets to live. And now Jen is steadfast in faith, as opposed to being zealous. Because she certainly has some zealoty tendencies. I need to be prepared for Jen to hate me in this playthrough, because we grew real close in the last playthrough, because obviously we both wanted the same thing, but she is old faith through and through. So it'd be interesting to see if I can win her round to New Faith, or whether I'm going to be kind of butting heads with her. Matters of Faith. So this one is about kind of the background of the church and how it all came together, and Isatius and whatnot, and there's a lot of backstory, which is interesting. But also it gets on to the fact there are a couple of like cliques within the school. So there's preachers, which Jen is a part of. They kind of ardently follow the teachers, and they attend every lecture and basically throw themselves into it wholeheartedly. Supplicants, who kind of, they're trying to learn everything their own way. They don't really rely on the teachers too much. And then there are the secret lot, who they turn up to the lessons, but then they bugger off into the city. It's like they've got their little secret society going on. Funnily enough, they are called this. Well, people call them the Secret Society. But I've not joined any of these, so I need to figure out where I fit into the group. So before I did join the preachers, which I don't think I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to infiltrate the Secret Society. You grow closer to the enigmatic group of seminary students hoping to learn their secrets. Because maybe this is New Faithy. I don't know. If this turns out to be the Lotless, I'm going to be really annoyed. Yeah, maybe it's New Faithy because they know they can't do it publicly, because they'll get in trouble, like I did? Let's find out. Sermons and prayers are something you already know. Right now, you'd rather learn something else, something new faithy. For several days in a row, you attempt to take a seat near the enigmatic seminary students. They eye you with suspicion and avoid you every time. When you realise that this approach isn't working, you try and ingratiate yourself with the member who seems the most eager to talk to you. You inquire about their secret meetings and promise to keep what he tells you a secret. He tells you nothing, but he does say that he'll consult with the other members of the society. Several days later, one of the enigmatic students nonchalantly invites you to walk with him and the others. You nod. You're strongly warned that everything that happens there must remain a secret. You swear not to tell a soul. You're going to a sermon. One of the students whispers in your ear as you walk the streets of Eterna. But, he adds with a crafty smile, you've never heard a sermon like this before. It will turn your vision of the twins upside down. In the end, curiosity gets the better of your doubts. The students lead you to the basement of a lavishly decorated house. There are at least 50 more people in the basement hall, many of them dressed in the latest fashion. You can even see college students among the crowd. They're all waiting for someone. Finally, a stout man with a bald spot walks on the pulpit. He's wearing a cassock, but you notice that he's not wearing the twins' cross. He seems good-natured enough. His plain face is lit up by a serene smile. "Oh, it's Father Mark. I thought that was him. Oh, I don't want to join Father Mark. Father Mark stinks. He doesn't like the twins at all." Although this is interesting to know that this is a route we can go down. Okay, right, you know what? No. No. We're not doing this route. I am, however, going to make a note of this. My plan, I've added this to my list of things I want to experience at some point, but for now, no. We are not rejecting the twins. Not today. No, sir. Okay, so we're back at this now. I'm actually, while I was flicking through again, I was thinking I might just join the preachers, because that doesn't really push me either way, and I'm still going to be a preacher, just not for their faith. So we'll do exactly the same as we did last time. So we do some practice preachings, and we do pretty well because, I mean, we're amazing. Plus that gets my relation with Jen up by 1, so she's now indifferent to me, and I get some theology out of it. Praying by myself would have just got me willpower, which, I mean, is helpful, because it's always good, but to have, I currently have 20, so it's fine. A criminal relationship. So there is a student of the church, a priest in training, a pit, if you will. They have been getting freaky with a witch, which is just heresy and filth, is what that is, but they've been caught. So they're on trial, and me and Jen go and check it out and see what is going on. And it all goes wrong. So Father Ulrich, he becomes the head of the Inquisition, where if we go down, well, he's probably still going to become the head of the Inquisition if we go down the Inquisition route, which I imagine I'm going to still end up being an Inquisitor. I don't know. But either way, he's very much old faith, and he will literally cut a bitch whenever he needs to. He's got no issue with cutting people's pretty faces. For the defence is Unius Diamond, who is very much he's less about cutting people's faces, so, you know, that's always good. I don't know if I think he's New Faith. I think he preaches New Faith, but I'm not sure. But either way, I'm thinking we're going to side with him over Ulrich. So before we flee the courtroom, because obviously it's all gone to hell, Patriarch Unius is asking for some leniency against the seminary student, so I'm going to back him up. Jen's not going to like it, but you know what? She can just learn to deal with it. I'm a big boy, I can make my own decisions. You take a deep breath and shout. The seminary student is not a full priest just yet. He's not undergone the Second Sacrament. He must not be judged by the laws of the clergy. Assisting a witch is a crime, but a commoner's punishment for this crime should not be as severe as this. Then you hear the voice of Patriarch Unius above the crowd. He repeats what you said, almost word for word. So Ulrich wants death for both of them. Actually, no, he doesn't. He wants... What does he want? He wants to send the witch to the House of Humility, and he wants to cut her nose off to make her less attractive, because, like I've said, he will cut a face. Whereas Diamonds, he's still very much like for the witch going to the House of Humility, but he doesn't want the seminary student to be killed. He wants them to, he thinks they should be sentenced to basically becoming a monk with a vow of silence, which is still like a punishment, but not as severe as death, obviously. This young man is still a commoner. He has not accepted his new lot yet. We cannot judge a commoner by the laws of the clergy. A monk is what he shall become, and through his prayer and his oath of silence, he shall fulfill his lot and reach the peak of the pillar, but only then. The din of the crowd dies down. The disturbance dissipates as everyone hears your words spoken with the authority of Patriarch Unius. Everyone takes their seats again, and the trial continues. After a brief discussion, the judges side with the defence. Father Ulrich and the Inquisitors take the girl away. The monks deal with the young man. The lovers can do nothing but exchange a brief farewell glance. All eyes are on Patriarch Unius, the man who prevailed in this case. You glance at Jeanne. Her eyes are narrow slits as she stares you down. She knows full well who said the words the Patriarch repeated. It was me. I did that. I did that. Come at me, Jeanne. I am receiving my second sacrament. I am about to become a fully fledged priest, and I am about to perform also my first sacrament, where a noble child has to kiss the sword, and a common child has to get whipped because the lots. Also, Jeanne is now an Inquisitor. She disappeared for a little while. As I was performing the sacrament, we noticed her stood in the back of the room in Inquisitor's garb, so that's good. I am going to have mercy on the child because the lots are awful. So yeah, I'm hesitating basically about whipping the child who really doesn't want to be whipped, funnily enough. So I'm going to have mercy on the child. To tell the child to rise, the sacrament is done. You lower the lash, unable to bring yourself to strike again. Then you lean over the boy and help him to his feet. The temple falls completely silent as you apologise to the boy for hurting him. Perhaps the new faith is right. Perhaps the lots are just an error made by Isatius. You want to believe this as you look in the boy's tearful face. You can feel the parents, the acolytes, and the congregation watching you in confusion. The boy gets to his feet, sniffling, and you tell him to go and live by his lot. But on the inside, you are overcome by a surge of emotion. There's a tense feeling in your chest as you think of your younger brother. You miss him so much. You can't wait to go home and embrace your mother. The acolytes take the sword and lash away. You turn to face the altar and mutter a quick prayer to the twins for this day. You hear quiet footsteps behind your back. You know they're Jen's. Her gaze burns into your back. You don't turn around. You can never show mercy if you're to carry out the will of the twins. That boy was supposed to feel the burden of his lot. Why did you have mercy on him? Jen takes a deep breath, ready to continue her indignant tirade. The next moment, her speech is cut short by a powerful voice that would make anyone shudder. Enough, Sister Jen. This is not why we're here. You hastily turn around and see Inquisitor Ulrich appear from the shadows. He's been watching you perform the sacraments this whole time. Father Ulrich, I beg you to reconsider. Brother Niklaus isn't ready to bear such a duty. That is for me to decide. Jen frowns, but falls silent, pursing her lips. Ulrich turns his gaze to you. For 2 years I've been watching you, Niklaus. Now the time has come for you to join us. Ulrich hands you a scroll marked with the silver seal of the Inquisition. Brother Niklaus, the Church is appointing you an Inquisitor. You're to return to your native land and protect our true faith against heresy. Well, how about instead of the true faith, I do the new faith? Huh? Huh? No? Tough crowd. Jen pierces you with an intense stare. There's doubt in her eyes, and so there should be, because I'm going to ruin her days. You bow your head and accept the scroll from Ulrich's hands. Then you solemnly fasten the Inquisitor's insignia to your belt. By the will of the Church and the gods themselves, you are now servants to the Holy Order of the Inquisition. Henceforth, your life belongs to the Order. You shall fight against any apostasy that threatens the Church and her flock. Cast aside your doubts, Inquisitor Brante, and be ready to fulfill your new, righteous duty. Prepare yourself to set out for Anizotte. A special assignment awaits you there. Sister Jem will accompany you as a fellow Inquisitor. She will tell you everything else you need to know. With that, Ulrich abruptly turns away and leaves the temple. Your answer is not required. The will of the church is the law, and you must abide by it. You're left alone with Jen. Your sister in faith betrays no emotion. Her words sound sharp and dry. The time has come to bid the capital farewell, Brother Niklaus. We're leaving for Anizotte tomorrow. With that, Jen leaves you alone in the temple. You turn back to the altar and finish your prayer. Well, she finds me distasteful. You know what? I find the old faith distasteful, so, you know, how do you like that? Hurts, doesn't it? And now I'm leaving the capital. So, yeah, that's just it. So I'm saying goodbye to Eterna, and I'm going to stop by the church gift shop and buy Nathan a book on prayers. In summary, it's time to head home. I remember what the first decision I have to make is before I even arrive into Anizotte. I'm going to piss off Jen. Oh, this is going to be fun.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
And I am going to add to that smelting pot of turmoil. Okay, so what I think I'm going for on this is... So we know that Cassius needs to be gotten rid of because he basically wants everyone to turn against the gods. So we are going for Cassius overthrown. So with your aid, the new believers force Patriarch Cassius from his sacred post. So I'm going to write this down because I know what my brain's like. So tolerance needs to be between 7 and 9. That's weird. So because before I was deliberately trying to tank the tolerance of faith. So now I need to not tank that. I guess instead of trying to tank the tolerance of faith, I'm going to really need to tank the Inquisition. Family outcomes, whatever happens, happens. The occupation, so right to defend the faith. The new believers now have the right to fight back to defend their beliefs. So tolerance of faith equal to or above 5 and arm the new believers. And if the Inquisition power falls below 2, the Inquisition loses authority. That could be a problem. Because if the order is too weak to make Cassius face the tribunal, does that mean we can't interject? No, because we're forcing him from his sacred post. Okay, maybe that's okay. So maybe I won't deliberately try and tank the Inquisition just in case, but, you know, if it gets in my way, I'm going to smash it to pieces, because... just because. The spiritual guidance. Jen's telling us about our inquisitorial mission of basically trying to find evidence on Cassius about his wrongdoings and to restore order in Margra. So she wants us to, in her words, eradicate every seed of heresy here and uproot the weeds of this new faith. Jen, breaking my heart. So I can support Jen, which, no. Evade the question, which again, no. Or disagree with Jen. The new faith is no heresy. It's not. It's the true faith. New faith is true faith. So that gives my theology and eloquence up. Weirdly, doesn't make Jen hate me. Which seems odd, but okay. I'll take it. You make it clear to Jen that you do not see the new faith as a heresy. When it comes to teaching false teachings and sects, bolstering the Inquisition's authority, or investigating Patriarch Cassius, you will be there for her. But half the clergy has recognised the teachings of Patriarch Photis. There are even new believers among the ranks of the Inquisition. Me included. Those who preach the new faith see that the teachings of Saint Isatius are not perfect. The world has changed, and its laws must change along with it. The answer provided by Isatius 1,000 years ago no longer suits the Empire. The new faith is an attempt to resolve this contradiction. Jen raises her eyebrows. She's clearly astounded by your response. Well, at least you're honest with me. Can only hope that you'll think differently when you see those who defy their lots firsthand. You greatly underestimate the threat their dogma represents. The walls of Anizotte finally appear on the horizon. A challenging mission awaits you on behalf of the Inquisition, but first, you're going home. So I have come home. Nathan is now a bit of a lout. He doesn't really know what to do with himself and basically just drinks all the time. Stefan's still a prick. Gloria is still very much angry about her life, and Mother is dying, so, you know, good to be back. So I'm going to do what I did before and just have a chat with Nathan, because I don't need... I'm maxed out with Mama, and chatting with Stefan or Gloria just pisses the other one off, so not doing that. So Nathan will tell me all about how his life is so dark and everything he does is awful, and that Mother's sick. So, you know, cheery conversation. Sacred Conclave says we've gone to the local Inquisition ward, which has been abandoned for a little while, so we have to kind of rebuild the Inquisition. And this is that. This is us starting to build the Inquisition back up. So as well as that, we also go to the Sacred Conclave, which is the the presentation of the new Patriarch to the twins. So Cassius has been effectively an interim Patriarch, but this is his first official patriarchage, his first Sacred Conclave basically. So he's being made into the Patriarch officially, which is funny because we're here to ruin his life. As it's all kind of coming to its conclusions, Father Ulrich comes in and basically does jazz hands and goes, "I'm here," and he wants me to address the people that have gathered outside the temple to tell them why we're here. So before I did accuse the Magrons because they were filthy heretics, I'm going to put the Magrons at ease, which increases my tolerance of faith, which is good. It reduces my relation with Jen, which is not so good. But it weirdly increases it with Father Leonard, which is peculiar. So yeah, good. You stand on the steps of the temple. The crowd watches your face, distraught. The clergy stare at your back, wary and alert. It's as though the entire city has gathered to hear you speak. You tell them that the Inquisition has come to Anizotte on an important mission, but it's by no means a mission of punishment. You've been sent here to save souls, to protect them from the dangers of heresy and magic. All of you, yourself included, are but humble children of the twins. Those whose faith is strong have nothing to fear from you. The crowd is silent. Jen stares at you in confusion. You hear hushed whispers among the clergy behind your back. It brings me joy to hear these words. To fight the scourge of magic is a worthy cause, but I doubt you'll find it here in Margaret. You can shut up, because I know you're harbouring witches. Now excuse me while I greet my flock and announce the conclusion of the conclave. You breathe a sigh of relief when you return to the Inquisition ward. Inquisitor Ulrich is not pleased with you, and he makes no effort to hide it. I was told to act as your mentor. The first thing I will tell you is this. You must cast away all fear and indecision. They are luxuries we cannot afford. We are servants of the twins. We are their shield, their sword of punishment. We are the ones who must be feared. Inquisitor Brante, you were supposed to show our strength, but instead you showed only weakness. You were supposed to remind the sinners of the inevitable punishment that awaits them. You were supposed to strike fear into the hearts of the apostates, to show the flock that we are here to root out all heresy and sin. But instead you made it seem as though our mission will not affect them. You two will handle the affairs of the Order while I investigate the Patriarch's schemes. Dismissed. Oh, increased with Father Leonard. That makes sense. That makes more sense. There's a fancy party happening at the Brante residence. I'm going to do what I've done the same couple of times before and just purchase a family portrait, which knocks down my worth a little bit, but increases reputation, unity, manipulation, and eloquence. And we get a pretty picture out of it. So good. More family decisions to be made. Gloria and Stefan are still very much at each other's throats all the time, constantly. Sir Robert wants me to get involved and just do something. So I'm going to do, again, what I've done before, an appeal to Nathan, which upsets Gloria and Stefan, but does increase overall family unity. And, anything to help out sweet Nathan. Even though I'm currently maxed out with him. But still. We'll get him to use his priestly teachings, what he knows anyway, which is admittedly not that much. Even more family choices. So a gift for the family. So I don't think I'm going to have any choice in what I do with this. So Archduke Melanidas has sent us a box of jewels and rubies and expensive stuff in a bid to win our favour as a noble family, because we don't support him, we support Overseer Gaius Tempest. So we have to choose what to do with said box of riches, and basically the only option I have is to effectively pawn them, which helps with the family wealth and knocks down the unity a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Who needs family unity when you got bags of cash? Ooh, the La-Tari Society. So Ulrich has asked for our assistance on a case. A guy has been arrested and has spilled the beans on a secret society of heathens that gather, and due to some gentle persuasion, has given up his invitation to said gathering. And we have to go undercover to the La-Tari Society. Basically, the La-Tari were an ancient race who are long extinct, but they believed that the whole world was a creation of their design, so of their imagination. Their imagination created the world, and that was the higher power that they believed in, which is obviously very, very bad in the eyes of faith. So we need to put a stop to this, because people should not be doing this. It's wrong. And also Octavia Melanidas, so the Archduke Melanidas' daughter, she's the one leading the La-Tari Society. So, arrest the apostates is what I did before. No, I preached to them before. Maybe I do join them then, because that increases my tolerance of faith. Preaching to them knocks down my tolerance of faith, and arresting them knocks down my tolerance of faith. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to join in. So basically, as part of the ceremony, she pulls out a knife, and she's butt naked as well, but she pulls out a knife and cuts down one of her arms, and she's about to cut down the other arm, which is now we're here. So I'm going to become a part of the circle. Why not? Wasn't expecting to do this now, but cool. You are part of the circle. You are the circle. You are La-Tari. Thou art La-Tari. The chain that's been broken is mended at last. You're now a part of the circle, and the circle is now you. Octavia Melanidas cuts a deep gash in her right arm. As her head rises, her eyes already begin to dim. Softly, weakly, she drops to her knees. Her beautiful head slowly falls to her chest. Slowly, she collapses. The chant continues. You are one. You are La-Tari. You are the truth. Beyond you, there is nothing. The world around grows dull. The fragments are falling away. Your bodies, the walls, the houses, the city, everything grows dull and disappears in the light. There is only the La-Tari. Beyond them, there is nothing. The world was but a dream, and you have awoken from it. The world has been cleansed of all that is empty and false. You are pure and free from passion and fear, doubt and desire. Your attention latches onto the last thing that remains in this world apart from yourself, the shining pillar. And from the peak, two silhouettes are watching, and they speak to you. Hot metal burns on your chest. The world regains its shape. You were asleep, you realise. You were only dreaming that you were awake. You open your eyes and clutch the red-hot symbol of the twins on your chest. The people in the circle are unconscious, lost in a trance. The body of Octavia Melanidas lies on the floor, fading away into nothing. She has died a lesser death. You begin to feel sick. Your head is spinning. Your legs feel numb as you stumble out of the room. Soon, you collapse on the floor. Unable to walk away further, it's hard to breathe. And then, darkness. You open your eyes and realise that you're still very weak. You find yourself in a comfortable bed, undressed. The thick curtains are shut tight. You have no idea whether it's day or night. Beside your bed is a familiar silhouette, shrouded in a long cloak. I know who you are, Inquisitor Niklaus. You were one of us tonight. It will not happen again. I am leaving Anizotte, and you will not search for me. Moreover, I insist that you never speak of what happened last night. If you do, your order will learn of everything you did, how you stood in the circle with the heretics, how you shunned the twins, and if that happens, your pyre will burn much sooner than mine, and my family will do everything in our power to make sure the Brante bloodline is never ennobled by the sword. I hope I've made myself clear. Farewell, Inquisitor. We will not meet again. Alright. Rogue. The woman heads for the door. A narrow ray of light cuts between the curtains to illuminate her face. You see protruding cheekbones, abyssal almond-shaped eyes, skin that glints like gold. Is it a trick of the lights, or a mask? No Archnean can have such golden skin. Octavia Melanidas leaves, and you fall into oblivion once again. You saw the twins, and they saw you. They see you always. From now on, you know that everything in this world is dust. Everything but their will, their love, and their law. The encircled cross has seared its mark into your chest. In your delirium, you see yourself standing before an enormous crowd. Thousands of golden faces, all looking at you. You have to tell them of the twins' truth. You grasp for the right words, search for any prayer at all, but only unfamiliar, entrancing words escape your lips. They have no meaning, they have no end, and the golden faces repeat after you. You leave the mansion the next morning, greeted by the incredulous stares of the champions of faith. Back at the Inquisition ward, you face Father Ulrich. There's no need to waste our time on these nobles, you assure him. Their rituals and mysteries are mere attempts to introduce a measure of variety into their world-weary lives. Nothing but drunken revelry and debauchery. And the members of the society are no guiltier of this than any other nobles. You never mention Lady Melanidas or anything else that took place within the circle of La-Tari. Oh, what an unproductive way to end the year. I was sure the La-Tari Society would give the order some influence against the local nobles. Now we'll have to find another way to get to the Patriarch. You sure you have nothing else to tell me? You shake your head vigorously. The Inquisitor studies you intently as you try your best to remain calm and composed. Very well. Dismissed. For the next several days, you can't help but think of these events again and again. What exactly happens to you that night? The words that were spoken in the circle, were they true? Were you La-Tari? Were you all La-Tari? The first year back in Anizotte ends in self-doubt and inner turmoil. Achievement! Okay, well that got ticked off. I don't know if that's going to have any long-standing consequences, but we'll see. Thomas is back in town and wants to have dinner, but he's made some enemies, and so this is going to affect our family reputation a little bit, but it's A, the only option I can do, and B, it's Thomas. And I feel pretty bad about this because I think Thomas is going to die this playthrough. I can't say that with 100% degree of certainty, but I have a nasty feeling. So, in the shadow of the tree. So, you have gone to the temple because, I mean, you're an Inquisitor. You are all about the faith, so obviously you've gone to the temple. But today, a procession is being given by Father Lennart, who, as we know, is basically the head honcho of the new faith, which obviously means he needs to become our new best friend. He is going to have a chat with us about faith, and he wants to know if we are understanding of the new faith and on his side, of which the answer is yes and a yes. So I am going to help Father Lennart, obviously. So I agree to help the new believers, which means my relation with Father Lennart is up by 2, and the status is a promise is made. Besties forever. You see a kernel of truth in Father Lennart's words. If you grant people the opportunity to seek the peak of the pillar on their own, they'll be able to form a new church and find new faith in the twins. And this new faith will not be imposed upon them, but will come from their own hearts. You promise to show mercy to those who seek their own path to the elder and the younger. You promise to help the new faith grow stronger and find answers where the old faith could not. When it comes to electing a new patriarch, it must be done by the people, and not the clergy, who are entrenched in an antiquated, outdated tradition. Father Lennart smiles and offers you his hand. Thank you, brother. May the truth reveal itself to you. May it fill you. You look at him intently. After a long pause, you tell him that the truth is to follow the path of the twins with a pure purpose and an open heart. They need nothing more, and neither do you. Okay. I promised the abbot to defend the teachings of the new faith. Damn right I did. Call the ancestors. So we have to go get abused by the spirit of Gregor Brante. But Stefan is going to be Stefan and try and basically force himself in as the head of the family, when obviously Robert is the head of the family. So I'm going to tell Stefan to basically sit down and shut up, which obviously he doesn't like, but honestly, I could give a shit. The will and the law. So someone's been brought into the Inquisition ward who me and Jen are questioning, because there was a book that was circulating which was the teachings of Isatius, but they were annotated, which is high treason in the eyes of the Old Faith. How dare you touch the words of Isatius, even question them, let alone write over them. So we're trying to get some information out of him about where the book came from. We ultimately fail. So Papa Ulrich gets involved and basically cuts off his fingers down to the knuckles, breaks the rest of the bones in his hand, cuts his ear off, and it's only when he threatens to break his kneecaps that the guy starts talking. As Ulrich is leaving, he tells Jen, kill him. A lesser death will suit him well. But Jen is like, hold up. This guy needs a trial. So which he looks at me and says, fine, you kill him then. So I can either kill the prisoner, which gets my relations up with Ulrich, or support Jen, which increases my relation with Jen. Before, I supported Jen because I thought, okay, yeah, we'll do it properly. However, I support Jen. The guy sits in a cell, half a man, for basically 3 days, and then the tribunal sentences him to true death, so he burns at the stake. Or I kill him now, he gets reborn, completely healed, and is free. So, yes. Just out of sheer mercy, you take the knife and step behind the prisoner's back. A moment of doubt. Will you defy your lot if you kill this man? Ulrich casts a weighty, confident gaze upon you. You understand that he would do it without hesitation. With a swift motion, you slit the prisoner's throat. The man emits a few convulsive gasps before his head finally collapses onto his chest. Slowly, the body dissolves into wisps of white smoke. Jen twists her lips, turns on her heels, and hurries out of the interrogation room. Father Ulrich gives you an approving nod. You have a firm hand, Niklaus, and you're not afraid to get it dirty. A death prefaced by torture often provides better guidance in the ways of the common lot than 100 sermons, and guiding people to their lots is our immediate duty. Sister Jeanne is too focused on rules and dogma. This is the simple approach to the Inquisitor's calling. It is also the path chosen by most of our brethren, but you, perhaps, may yet see the true nature of the twins. You leave the room, the prisoner's blood-stained clothes the only reminder of his former presence. The man's body has vanished. The apostate paid for his crimes with a lesser death. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that decision. Obviously not that I killed him, but that I definitely stopped his suffering. So, about that book that was being printed, in between the torture and the death, he said that the print shop was from a little village of Sulmina. So I head out there with my champions of justice, champions of faith, not champions of justice, to go investigate said bookshop. Turns out, this bookshop is actually led by one Father Lennart. So, that would normally have put me in a bit of a sticky situation. However, this time, not so much. I can either leave the books alone, which knocks down Inquisition power, and increases tolerance of faith, or I can redact and censor the books, which actually increases both, and increases my standing with Father Lennart, which I'm thinking might be the best option, because I don't know if I want to kill the Inquisition. I don't know if I should kill the Inquisition. I don't know if that's a bad thing for me if I do that. I'm not sure. Either way, we'll do this, because why not? There's not really anything negative to come out of this, so sure. That puts my tolerance of faith at a 7, which is good, because I need that to be at 7 and 9. You look from Captain Agoranim to Father Lennart, then back again. They're both right in their own way. No one must be allowed to revile Prophet Isatius. Belief in the tenets of the old faith must remain unshaken. However, the new believers must not be prevented from finding their own paths to the twins. Between the two extremes they offer, you suggest your own solution, a middle ground. The print shop will remain open, however, the Inquisition will have the right to review and censor everything it prints. The silence that follows is brief. Father Lennart nods, and Captain Agoranim shrugs in support. It falls upon you to review their book in detail and purge it of any defamation of Prophet Isatius, all while keeping the teachings of Patriarch Fotis intact. This revision takes many weeks to complete. At last, the book is ready to see the light. Father Ulrich wears a dubious expression as he pages through the book. A compromise, the worst choice of all. So much effort, wasted on a book that nobody wants to see in its current form. There's one good thing, however. We've asserted our authority and claimed the right to censor sacred texts. Congratulations on that, Brother Niklaus, if nothing else. You can't help but agree that Father Ulrich's words ring true. Drained and exhausted by the long labour, you return home and succumb to dreamless sleep as soon as you close your eyes. Okay. Hopefully that was a good decision. Who knows how many times I've said that. Brothers in misery. So Thomas and Stefan have got themselves arrested. Nathan was at a local tavern, causing a bit of a ruckus with his loutish friends. Stefan intervenes. One of Nathan's friends tries to stop him and gets stabbed. And they get arrested. Stefan has sent for me to help them out. Before I took them to the Inquisition because I had the right amount of Inquisition power. I don't this time. So I might ask Father for help, which I've done before. So it knocks down reputation and unity by 1, increases my manipulation a tad, increases with Nathan and Stefan, and knocks down by 1 with Father. Because if I refuse to help, it knocks down by 1 for both brothers. I get a bit of willpower, but I lose 2 reputation. Yeah, I'll ask Father for help, which I've done before, so he doesn't like it, but it's the lesser evil for him. It would be worse for the family if it goes to trial. So, tarnished honour. Okay, so I need to be careful with our reputation. Not that it really matters, but it kind of matters. Ooh, lethal weapons. So I'm guessing this is where I can choose to arm the new faith. So this is brand new. With each passing year, more and more priests and laymen are becoming adherents of the new faith. The sermons of Abbot Leonard and his supporters are resonating with people. The new believers proceed towards the peak of the pillar while defying the law of Isatius. They're led by the love of the twins. As Patriarch Cassius's flock becomes smaller in numbers, his sermons become progressively fiercer. Brothers and sisters, the false prophet Photis is dead, but his heretical teachings live on and continue to poison our land. Every day more and more of our friends, family members and neighbours fall under the spell of Abbot Leonard and those who've been deceived by his honeyed words. The Inquisition is supposed to be a shield for the true faith and a sword of retribution for the heretics and apostates, yet it remains idle, so we must rely on ourselves. Heed my call, brothers and sisters. Save your loved ones. Save those who have lost their way and their true faith. Bring them back, whatever the cost. The leaves of the silver tree rustle soothingly. You try to breathe deeply and evenly, taking control of your emotions, but as soon as you open your eyes, your stomach turns. The temple of the silver tree reeks of death. Red blood flows over the white marble. In its hideous patterns, you recognise traces of bodies that have vanished after a lesser death. Every step produces a nauseating, squelching sound. Ugh. Armed men barged into the temple during Father Leonard's midday sermon. Their faces were hidden, their clothes adorned with the symbol of the church of the twin gods. They attacked the new believers, then took their own lives. Jen's voice echoes through the empty temple. I think we're done here, Brother Niklaus. I have the full list of victims. They all suffered a lesser death. We'll question them thoroughly after they're reborn. The attackers yelled they were willing to condemn themselves to eternal suffering, just to purge this sacred place of heresy. They're commoners who dare to go against their loss in order to save people who have succumbed to the heresy of the new faith. Do you think Cassius is right? Is the Order to blame for what happened? You have no time to answer. A sharp voice calls out from the entrance of the temple. Maybe you should get out of your cell once in a while, missy. The old believers slaughter us like cattle in our own temple, but you're willing to acquit them and blame the Order for not taking charge of this bloody harvest. An unfamiliar, frail old man is standing by the entrance. Beside him stands Leonard, the abbot of the temple. Jen grows crimson with fury. How dare you say such things, old man? Am I wrong? Did your champions of faith come to our aid? No, you let the fanatics go ahead with their bloodbath. Calm down, Silver, I implore you. This is just your anger and bitterness talk. Sister Jen, pray forgive this man for his harsh words. He is full of sorrow and grief. It is understandable. Jen heads for the exit without saying a word. You're about to follow her, but Father Leonard stops you at the threshold. Inquisitor Niklaus, may I ask you to stay for a moment? Jen leaves. The three of you are alone in the temple. You, Leonard, and the strange old man. Let me introduce my old friend, Sylvan Samosta. Sylvan, this is Inquisitor Nicklaus. Sylvan examines you with distinct distrust. His eyes rest on your Inquisitor's medallion. Why should we trust him, Leonard? He's a bloodthirsty fanatic like all the other Inquisitors. I don't think we should. Stop, Sylvan. Inquisitor Nicklaus is not our enemy. Can't you trust one person? He does not wish us ill. I can vouch for him. Alright. The twins whisper in my ear that you may be right. You ask the abbot what it was he wanted to discuss with you. Instead of Leonard, the old man speaks to you. He points at the signs of the recent massacre. Have a good look around, Inquisitor. We're being killed in our own temple, but we can't defend ourselves. If something like this happened in a temple of the Old Faith, the city would be teeming with furious nobles, gendarmes, and legion officers. But now, everyone's silent, and the Patriarch keeps sicking his fanatics on us. Patriarch? Does Samosta have any proof of his involvement in the attack? Is there any proof that he wasn't? The Oath is simply horrified by the prospect of Leonard becoming Patriarch. He feels threatened. He wants to intimidate us, or destroy us. Leonard puts a comforting hand on the old man's shoulder. Sylvan shakes it off with irritation. Inquisitor Nicklaus, we must get the right to protect our temple against such attacks. In truth, we cannot rely upon the champions of faith. The new faith does not limit people with lots. Those who are willing to take up arms in order to defend our temple have the right to do so. What if they find their path to the twins in this service, in defending their brothers of faith? If the prefect of the province allows the commoners of our parish to organise a militia, we'll be able to protect ourselves. This tragedy will not repeat itself. Elborn is a good man. He's willing to cooperate, but he says he needs the approval of either the Patriarch or the Inquisition. As you can imagine, we've no hope when it comes to Cassius, but if you, Nicklaus, speak on behalf of the Order, the Prefect will issue the decree, and we will fear these bloody massacres no more. You turn to the site of the recent battle. The scarlet blood has been scorched black by the heat. Okay. I'm going to support Leonard, which is going to push my Inquisition power down to 3, which is okay. Father Leonard and Jen both go down. Sorry, Father Ulrich and Jen both go down, which is okay. I'm going to need to take a hit on Tolerance of Faith in the future, because I can't have that being above 9. But that's okay. I think I've got time to do that. So, what happens if it becomes greater than 9? Torch of the New Faith. Oh, Vigilante Justice. Okay, don't necessarily want Vigilante Justice. It's a way of doing it, but it's not the way I want to go about doing it. So, right, support Leonard. Fine. You'll speak on behalf of the Order and aid the new believers in organising their own militia in order to protect the temples. Sylvan grins. Leonard lets out a sigh of relief. Alright, Leonard, you were right. Inquisitor Nicklaus is a fine young man. Samosta unceremoniously pats you on the back. Leonard taps his staff on the ground in indignation. Sylvan, show some respect, you old fool. Thank you, Inquisitor. You have done a good deed. Your decision will save many lives. Unbeknownst to Jen and Ulrich, you write a lengthy letter to Augustine Elborn. The Inquisition will allow the prefect to grant commoners of the new faith the right to defend the temples of the twins. Several days later, Elborn personally announces the new decree in front of the Prefecture. The Prefecture hereby bestows upon commoners professing the new faith the right to defend their sacred temples in armed combat. This decision has been approved by the clergy of the new faith and the Inquisition. When Jen and Ulrich find out what you've done, they are livid. How could you approve such an outrage? You've deceived and betrayed us. You've compelled the commoners to violate their lot. You armed those who recognize no law above them. If even true believers have resorted to bloodshed, what is there to stop these apostates? Not only have you led these people astray and doomed them to endless suffering at the foot of the pillar, you've damned yourself as well. Squads of new believers now guard all temples in which the teachings of Fotis are preached. Old faith fanatics make a few more attempts to attack them, but the new faith militia led by Sylvan Samosta prevents any bloodshed. The cost may have been high, but the new believers can now perform their services without fear of armed reprisals. Yeah, I'm alright with that. Achievement! The right to have bare arms. The new sacrament. So, tolerance of faith by weight. So this is also brand new. For the first time in years, the authority of the new faith is on par with that of the old. The city's changing. Its people are changing too. Abbot Leonard is beloved by the people. He has supporters in the city, among the peasantry, and even among the nobles of the mantle. They all want to see Leonard become Patriarch. You know that you can take some of the credit for this. The faithful no longer fear the twins. They proceed up to the peak of the shining pillar along the path their heart has chosen. Among the ranks of the Order are many brothers and sisters who, like you, openly support the teachings of Fotis and defend the new faith. Today, Father Leonard is gathering his flock by the temple for a sermon. Our path to the twins is a search for the will, love, and law they have bestowed upon us. By means of the word the twins have bequeathed to us, we strive to comprehend their design and our place in it. May the lash and the sword remain things of the past, just like the lots. Our sacrament is that of the word. The book will be the symbol of the new faith. Lives of the twins will be the foundation of our sacrament. As soon as Abbot Leonard finishes his sermon, a familiar voice cuts through the din of the crowd. New faith, new sacrament, new patriarch! The parishioners echo Sylvan's cry. Pray right here on the street. Preach to the people. Spread our teachings. Give your neighbour the sacrament of the book and set them on the right path. You are free from the lots. May everyone know this freedom. The new believers take over the city in a matter of days. They don't rob, loot, or commit acts of violence. Priests, commoners, and nobles flood to the squares and street corners, preaching the new faith and offering prayers to the twins. No one who walks the streets of Anizotte can fail to hear their word. The lots must be forsaken. Those who wish to share the new faith will obtain the sacraments of the book. Thus, do the new believers grant them the freedom to choose their own path to the gods? This turn of events cannot remain unnoticed. Having solicited the support of the overseer, Patriarch Cassius addresses the people of Anizotte. The sacrament is the foundation of the law of the twins, which is in its turn the foundation of our blessed empire. By rejecting the sword and the lash, the new believers have rejected the elder and the younger. Their new sacrament is a rebellion against the order that the twins bequeathed to us, and thus a rebellion against the empire itself. I hold the overseer's order in my hand. Gaius Tempest commands us to prevent any change to the sacrament and punish those who persist in their sinful delusion. Jen echoes Cassius's words before the brothers and sisters of the order. The new believers are not going to bow to our will without a fight. That our righteous indignation is a manifestation of the will of the younger. Punishing those who trespass against the divine law is our lot and our sacred duty. The Prefecture gendarmes are on our side. The several brothers and sisters suddenly begin to advocate for the new faith. They don't see the sacrament of the book as heresy. They also point out that matters of faith are beyond the power of the overseer. Gaius Tempest has no right to give orders to the Inquisition. Outraged by their words, Ulrich suddenly defends Jen. The word is their weapon, but ours have always been the sword and the lash. Death is a better admonition than 1,000 sermons. Tomorrow the Inquisition will send those heretics to meet the twins. There, they will know the light of truth. So, appeal to the overseer, which I can't do because my reputation and diplomacy is not high enough. Follow the overseer's orders. No. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So, I have a choice to make. I can either defend the new believers, which is what I want to do, but that is going to push tolerance of faith up to a 10, which could potentially trigger the bloodbath. Hopefully it won't. I'm going to go with hopefully it won't. Yeah, hopefully I will have the chance to knock it down further, or knock it down at a later stage. We're going to go with it. This is the right decision. If nothing else, for the narrative, you stand up to address the Inquisitors. The new believers are not heretics. They serve the twins just as we all do. It's the duty of the Order to protect the faith, and now the new faith is in need of our protection. The Overseer has no right to interfere in matters of faith. He must be reminded of this. The Order must defend the new believers' right to the sacraments. Your words resonate with both Inquisitors and champions of faith. Ulrich's eyes are ablaze with anger. You are making a mistake, brothers. The blessed Archnean Empire will fall unless we put an end to Fotis' foul teachings. But his voice is drowned out by the shouts of the Inquisitors. Persuaded by your ardent speech, they side with you. Jen watches in evident amusement. She is so furious, it renders her speechless. The Inquisitors and the Champions of Faith walk across the city, encouraging all faithful to follow them. You move slowly so that the procession can be joined by as many people as possible. An immense crowd approaches the temple by the Silver Tree. You walk up the stairs and address the public. Their fears are groundless. The Inquisition has not come here to punish or admonish. Today, the Inquisitors and the Champions of Faith have come to the temple to be admonished themselves. The new faith is a way to serve the twin gods, so anyone who defies it is defying the elder and the younger. Father Lennart and Sylvan Somosta stand by your side, smiling. By the eyes of the massive crowd, you take the sacrament of the book. Woo! The crowd cheers. One after another, commoners and nobles step forward to give the sacrament to the Inquisitors and the Champions of Faith. Tentatively at first, then with growing confidence. Standing side by side with the Lennart and Somosta, you watch the jubilant crowd from the temple stairs. Your head is spinning. The sheer number of those who've converted to the new faith in recent years, people who can now choose their own lot, what an enormous force it is. This is true power of faith. I can hear the twins' approval, Brother Nicholas. Nothing can stop us. Not that pig Cassius, and not the Overseer. Don't trigger. Don't trigger. Okay, yeah, it has been. Good. Miracles and wonders. Okay. This witch might have to die for the Inquisition power, which I feel bad about. I wanted her to live. So we are told about a town in the Margren Desert, which is historically well known for being a barren desert wasteland. But this village is lush and vibrant and loads of stuff grows there. But it turns out that the priest there is actually a witch. But she doesn't know she's a witch. She has the witch power of nature. But through her whole life she's prayed to the twins, she's touched something and it's grown. She's always just thought it was a gift of the twins. Turns out it's not, it's magic. As you can tell, she's not happy about the news. So, okay, well I can't subdue Ariadella, so that's one thing. I can proclaim the occurrence a miracle of the twins, which knocks down my Inquisition power, but ups my tolerance of faith, which I don't want. I need to knock that down. Okay, this is good. I mean, it's not good, because, you know, she's adorable, and she wants to be doing a good thing, and I'm going to have her killed for the sake of a happy ending. Happier ending. So, I'm sorry, Ariadella, but I don't want religious riots. It's your life traded off against dozens, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Fire shall purge Ariadella's hideous magic from this land. There's no place for witches in the Empire. I feel bad about this, but this game demands sacrifices. Sacrifices have to be made in the name of this game, and it's awful. You leave Ariadella to weep in her garden and shout for the Champions of Faith. Shackle the girl, you say. You're taking her to Anizotte to be executed. Horrified, the villagers watch the soldiers drag the priestess to your carriage in chains. The women scream, the children bawl. Several men try to fight their way to Ariadella, but the Champions of Faith keep them away. You barely avoid a confrontation as you leave Brasinia. Back in the city, you order preparations to be made for Ariadella's execution. Everything must be done quickly, before the Patriarch can intervene. Later that night, in the square by the Inquisition ward, the people of Anizotte begin to gather. They say nothing. They're here to watch the ritual purging of corruption from this land. The young woman is bound to a wooden stake and surrounded by kindling. In a loud voice, you proclaim the sentence. The witch Ariadella shall undergo the ritual of purifying flame. May it cleanse this land of her abhorrent magic. The flames grow reluctantly. The wood produces smoke rather than fire. You close your eyes and begin to recite a prayer. The Champions of Faith join you, and soon everyone in the square is chanting. Glory be to the younger, defender of the world and the shining pillar. Glory be to the law he has bestowed upon us. Glory be to the order he protects. May he bless our deeds. May he preserve us from corruption and lawlessness. May his strength abide with us. But the choir of voices cannot drown out Ariadella's screams as she dies her true death in the flames. You hear a distant cry. Several priests run up to the pyre. Cassius is among them. The Patriarch is panting, drenched in sweat. Stop this! End this now, I beg of you! It's too late. Ariadella screams no longer. Her body limp at the wooden stake, consumed by the blaze. By the light of the dancing flames, you swear you see tears in the Patriarch's eyes. One of the priests puts an arm on Cassius's shoulder. We should leave, Cassius. There's nothing else we can do. Oh, Father Mark. Stop popping up all over the place, you. Patriarch leaves the square, his head bowed. The crowd disperses, the fire dies down. Sir El Capo returns the next morning, he is the guy who told us she was a witch. He has come to thank you. The Inquisition reacted so swiftly to his report. He's impressed by your resolve in dealing with this evil. At first he had feared that the woman's comely appearance might cloud your judgment. You're indifferent to the nobleman's flattery. You made this decision for the sake of the twins, to cleanse the world of the taint of magic. A human life is a small price to pay for such a lofty goal, and also a small price to pay to balance out my tolerance of faith, so... She was a sacrifice that had to be made. I mean, in the last playthrough I literally sacrificed my entire family, so I'm not above making sacrifices when I need to. Peacetime ends soon. Does it? Does it though? Okay, so I'm in a good position for this. I just need to get the evidence against Cassius. Goody goody goody. The Trail of Sorcery. So we have started working with the Secret Chancellery to hunt down witches and try and find some evidence against Patriarch Cassius. Jen has gone with her posse to track down a potential witch sighting at an old workhouse. She hasn't reported in for a while, so we get a little bit concerned. So we go after her, find that she is in fact in the basement, stabbed a lot of times, surrounded by people, one of which is a mage. The Champions of Faith kind of disperse most of the crowd and deal with a lot of the nonsense, but then the mage starts running away. So I can chase the mage, which helps my Inquisition power, which is not a bad thing, or I can heal Jen, but it means I let the mage escape. If I get the mage, that's going to help me in getting the evidence. So I'm going to chase the mage like I did before, so we chase him, we catch him. Jen dies, but she's not mad at us for it, because we did the right thing. Which that is also beneficial, because, you know, she currently just despises me, so... A little bit of love my way isn't a bad thing. This fella, this little magey boy that we captured, Father Ulrich is doing his thing, cutting faces and breaking toes and all sorts of horrible stuff. But he finds out that Patriarch Cassius was in fact involved, which is what we wanted. So we decided to take a little break, because we don't want to get involved in the politics, even though we're fully involved in the politics of everything that's happening. And we have ourselves a little revelation. And this revelation is focused around the lots, and well, last time when I spoke to Jen about it, her opinion was that the lots are firm. Even the gods themselves have lots. I imagine if I go to Father Lennart, he would say that the revelation is confirmation that their belief that the lots are in fact bollocks. But because I've done the La-Tari ritual, I can prolong the revelation, which means, I mean, it's going to cost me 10 willpower, which is fine, but it improves my scheming, valor, diplomacy, and manipulation. Like the La-Tari, for a brief moment you become one with something greater than yourself. Why not? Let's experience this. You turn to face the shining pillar. The revelation is fading like a memory of an old dream. If only you could hold on to it just a bit longer. There must be a way to see more, to see further than you were previously allowed. You have to try. You get down on your knees and close your eyes. In the past, you partook of a heretical ritual with the La-Tari Society. You can still remember their chanting, the music that took you far from this world. And now it rings in your head once again, but this time, in your mind, you change the words of the chant. I am the twins. I am the elder. I am the younger. They are part of me. I am part of them. And the fading vision explodes into lights like a bolt from the blue. You're falling from the peak of the shining pillar down to the mortal realm. There's nothing but infinite darkness all around you. It feels like you're falling for an eternity. A hand extends from the blinding peak, reaching out to catch you. You can't discern the features of your saviour, only his silhouette. This soft, open hand, you've known it ever since you were born. Above your saviour rises a ruthless shadow. It grabs your saviour by the shoulders, pulling him back. You clutch the outstretched hand at the last moment as you fall. Back in the physical world, your body collapses under immeasurable pain. Your ribcage bends in, blood gushes out of your nose, and your muscles spasm and shudder, each breath a gasp of pain. You scream in desperate agony. It takes incredible willpower just to maintain this connection, to keep holding onto that hand. The younger tries to pull you towards him, out of the elder's arms, but the elder will not let go. Your own will fades away. There's no more time, no more sensation. Everything is replaced by the will of the two brothers. This is how it was before you were born. This is how it shall be after you die for the last time. Their dreams and aspirations, their joys and sorrows, their goals and aims, it all flows through you in an endless stream. The brothers strive for the same thing. They both wish the people well. To that end, they've chosen different paths. Their will, once united, has been rent in twain. Their struggle will never end. The elder begs for his brother's forgiveness, but he will never find it, not even in the heavens. The law is one, the same for men and gods alike. You slip out of their hands. You're lying on the ground, face down. One of your hands is clenched into a fist, and the other is open, caressing the clenched hand. The pain fades away, but the memory remains. You will never be able to tell anyone about this. Ooh, interesting. This will be interesting to see where this goes, because a confession before was Jen saying, you know what, I find you incredibly sexy, let's go and have sex under this tree. I'm paraphrasing, it was a lot more kind of heartfelt. It was basically Jen was confessing her love and I was saying it back. So it would be kind of ridiculous if this happens now, but we'll see. Okay, so apparently as much as we're on different paths and she despises me, we are still in love with each other. So this is going to be some angry sex. Oh, this isn't going to help. I have to say it was an illusion. So before the feelings are real, because they were then. Me and Jen were on the same path. We were fully in love. It was an illusion. The silver tree filled you both with love, but now the illusion is gone. Don't call me, I'll call you. I'm sorry. What happened was not your will, it was the will of the silver tree. It filled you with a craving for love you had never known. But the law of faith cannot be altered. For priests, physical love and the union of the flesh are forbidden. Jen looks downward. You're both silent. The hum of morning life fills the slums around the tree. A thought surprises you. There were so many people around. It feels awkward. I like it when people watch. When Jen can finally look at you again, her eyes are glistening with tears. You're right. It was just an illusion. What we did is forbidden. I have to go. As she walks away from the silver tree, her back is unusually straight. She does not want her weakness to show. You look up at the silver tree's branches and whisper a prayer. Strength fills your body. The illusion is gone now. Reality awaits. It's time to serve the twins. Oh. Hostile. Got some willpower out of that though, which was sorely needed. The Patriarch's sermon. So Patriarch Cassius, he's lost a lot of face lately. Thanks to Ulrich and the Inquisitors, he's not as supported as he once was. But he's giving a sermon, and he's going to use this to try and get himself over on the Inquisition. So while he's giving his sermon, he calls you up to the stage and basically demands that you show loyalty, or you show the loyalty of the Inquisition to your Patriarch. So before, I kind of had to kiss the Patriarch's hand, which is not great. I can refuse, which means I'll die. If I do kiss the Patriarch's hand again, our tolerance of faith goes down to 7, which is not bad, but my Inquisition power drops to 2, which is bad. If I rely on the new believer's support, my tolerance of faith goes up, which I can't have, unfortunately. Okay, so before, as soon as tolerance of faith hit below 2, it triggered the new faith persecuted, which was bad. And I don't want to kill the Inquisition. I don't want it to be that chaotic. So... Oh, I currently don't have any deaths! For some reason I thought I had at least one. Oh, that's fine, I'll take the death then. The Order of the Inquisition does not submit to the Patriarch. You make this clear to everyone. So tolerance of faith goes down, which is good. That puts me right in the sweet spot of where I want it to be. My deaths go up, eloquence go up, willpower goes down. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll take the death. The burden of several hundred gazes feels heavy on your back. You spread your shoulders wide and address the people. The Order of the Inquisition does not need the Patriarch's blessing. The brothers and sisters of the Order have already been blessed by the twins themselves. The Inquisitors are the judges and executioners of those who would defy the faith and stray from the true path. They need no law but the law of the younger. No love but the love of the elder. Your words ring across the square, followed by silence. So, the rumours are true. The Inquisition supports the schism within the faith. Your order has come to Margra to lay waste to the true faith in this land. Your order is working to blacken my good name among the clergy and the flock. Your order wishes to put some new believer heretic in my place, so that he may poison people's hearts with his false teachings. You have all forgotten the law of the younger. For each and every crime there will be retribution. Cassius' speech is drowned out by the cries of the crowd. You hear a scream. A rock flies out of the crowd and hits a champion in the face. The warrior falls to his knees, and the champions of faith draw their swords. The rock but was the first of many. A hail of cobblestones come flying at the heads of your soldiers. You can't see the faces of your assailants. Who dares attack the Order of the Inquisition? How is this even possible? Cassius watches you with indifference from the temple stairs. The rocks are still flying. One by one, they find the champions' skulls. Something hard hits you in the back of the head. You feel pain, and then darkness. Because I'm dead now. But fear not, I'm alive! You awaken in the family crypt with your eyes closed. You feel the back of your head. No bruises, no scars. The twins have brought you back to life. Who were these people who dared to assault a member of the Inquisition? Is Cassius behind this? Right now, you have no answers. And yet, you're certain that the answer is already within reach. Cool, it's okay, it's okay. It's all good. Oh, Thomas. Thomas. Sweet baby Thomas. So Thomas is in trouble. He's pissed off Dorius Otten, and Dorius Otten is not the kind of man you want to piss off. So Thomas is now running for his life, and he sends a letter asking for our assistance. So I can hide Thomas in the temple, in which case I die, which, I'm sorry buddy, I can't. I knew this was going to happen. I said this earlier. Sorry, Thomas. Sorry, buddy. Got some willpower, though. Yay. A sinner's confession. Okay, so what am I going to do here? So, Nathan has been arrested. They don't know it's Nathan, but he's basically drunk and passed out in a pile of his own piss. So the Inquisitors brought him in because he was abusing a statue of the twins. He tells us all about Father Mark and his teachings of basically the gods are shit and everyone should hate them. So yeah, what are we going to do with Nathan? If I remember this correctly, I can guide Nathan down the right path, which is good. And because Nathan's going to be recruited, I can use that at a later stage. So I think this will still be fine. I think I can still get the evidence this way. So I'm going to guide Nathan down the right path. You're a priest. By my lots, you must guide souls to the true path. Your brother must help the Inquisition arrest Father Mark. Okay, it's going to knock my willpower and reputation down a little bit, but it's okay. I've been trying to drop tolerance of faith down, and I've dropped it too far now. I couldn't afford to take the hit on 2. You ask your brother to recall the conversation by the tree in the family garden all those years ago. He asked you about the twins back then. Can Nathan remember what you told him? Yeah, I remember. The twins are always testing us, but they don't hate us. They came down to our world and taught us how to live, so their law contains their love. That's right. Without the twins, there's no life. Neither in this earthly realm, nor in the hereafter. Those who reject the gods die inside and can only eke out a pathetic existence. Father Mark and Patriarch Cassius are dooming the very people they're supposed to be fighting to save. They failed their lot and are now leading their flock to the foot of the pillar. But the twins have blessed Nathan with a revelation that could save people. The twins have shown Nathan a path to them, and now they're giving him a chance to stop Mark and his perverse teachings. The twins want to save Mark's erring apostates and return them to the bosom of the true faith. Nathan thinks deeply for a while, then answers. Very well, brother. If you promise not to punish these lost souls, but only offer them salvation, I'm willing to aid you. You ponder what to do about your brother. If Nathan stays until dawn, Ulrich will surely get his hands on him. You quickly walk upstairs. What is it, Inquisitor? The prisoner has confessed his misdeeds and is ready to be punished for them. Astonishing! I was certain it was impossible to get anything out of that drunkard. What's his punishment? You sentence your brother to the usual punishment for drunkenness. 7 days with an iron chain around his neck. He'll endure this burden and the shame that comes with it. You accompany your brother out of the Inquisition ward by the grey light of dawn. Nathan walks slowly. The metal ball chained to his neck weighs him down. Soon, the pain will make him scream, but this punishment is nothing compared to the crimes he's committed. So, about Father Mark, listen. He's planning to gather his supporters at the country mansion of nobleman named El Gauthier. There are usually several guards at meetings like this, and they're ready to sound the alarm at the drop of a hat. They'll definitely notice a group of men, but a single person won't seem suspicious. Password to the meetings is Alice. I heard it's the name of a woman Mark used to love. We know Alice. Talk to him. I think you'll both have something to say to each other. You ask Nathan why he decided to share this with you. You have something the twins don't have. What's that? Mercy. Mark isn't a bad man, you'll see. You helped me. Maybe you can help him too. You can't promise that. Father Mark is an apostate and a renegade. I see. The next morning, your brother's shame makes the family the talk of the town. Stefan is livid, but the rest of the family just feels sorry for Nathan. Then, as noon approaches, Inquisitor Ulrich sends for you. He wants to see you right away. You meet at the chapel near the Inquisition ward. You're alone in the house of the twins. Surely you were not expecting to conceal yesterday's incident from me? I've questioned the witnesses. Your brother's actions call for a much severer punishment. You allowed your feelings and family ties to outweigh your duty as a servant to the twins. This is unacceptable. Father Ulrich's right. You're ready to accept any punishment your mentor deems necessary. But first, you have urgent news to deliver about Patriarch Cassius and his apostasy. Ulrich's eyes grow wide. You tell your mentor about Father Mark and his connection to the Patriarch. The Inquisitor nods in approval. Very well. Your punishment can wait for now. Go find this Mark and take him to our dungeons. There's not much time left until the next Sacred Conclave. If Cassius is indeed a heretic, we must expose him before he's elected Patriarch again. Okay. So I am going to the El Gauthier estate. Incognito. I'm going to blend in and I'm going to listen and I'm going to go, wait, Marky baby, you are under arrest, or, something to that effect. So I can either make a deal with Mark, which increases my tolerance of faith. No. This is good. So, luring Mark into a trap. So I get the evidence against Cassius. My Inquisition power goes up, so that's swimming in the middle ground territory. And tolerance of faith goes down to 7, which is acceptable. So, yes, Nathan will help you lure Mark out of the house. Sorted. You look for Nathan among the crowd. As promised, he's here, keeping quiet in the shadows and trying to catch sight of you. You sit down next to him. He flinches a little and inadvertently touches his neck. The wounds from his punishment have not healed yet. Oh, it's you, Nicholas. I'm not used to seeing you dressed like that. How can I save all these people who've lost the twins in their hearts? The first thing you do is get Mark out of the house. Nathan nods, perplexed. Father Mark likes to smoke his pipe outdoors. I'll try to persuade him to take a walk. I hope you know what you're doing. Meet me at the back door. Nathan leaves the table and goes straight to Mark. You hope he'll not let you down. With a glass of wine in your hand, you go outside and pretend to be enjoying your drink and the coolness of the night. The suspense is painful. Each minute lasts forever. Several people pass you by. Eventually, you hear some familiar voices. Oh, your neck looks awful, Nathan. I've told you time and time again. Drunkenness isn't freedom. It's just another kind of yoke. The gifts of this world must be enjoyed in moderation. You find the silver slabs in your pocket and close your eyes for a moment, praying to the younger for a miracle. The voices are drawing nearer still. You're right, Father Mark. Don't worry, I've learned the lesson I won't soon forget. The sound of their footsteps is very close now. You see Mark appear in the doorframe. You promptly lift your arms, allowing a miracle of the twins to be performed. The burning hot silver disappeared. A white flash lights up the night. Jen will surely see the signal. The preacher's body falls to the ground. With a sharp cry, you order your brother to get behind you. You hear running footsteps. The champions of faith rush into the yard. A fight erupts. You hear feet stamping and steel ringing all over the mansion. Jen walks up to you and points at Mark. Is that him? You nod. Excellent. For the first time in a long while, a smile appears on Jen's face. Okay. Tarnished honour? Why did I lose reputation? That's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Is it fine? The sentence. The sentence. So we have Father Mark in custody. And obviously Patriarch Cassius knows how dangerous Mark is in custody. We've been left alone to kind of watch over him. Jen and Ulrich have gone off to check out some leads on stuff. And Patriarch Cassius has formed a mob that he has riled up into wanting Father Mark's immediate death. And we can't kill him yet because we need to know if what you've said checks out and we can actually use it as evidence. So we're in a bit of a tight spot here because there is an angry, bloodthirsty mob heading our way. We are but one person and we need to do something about Mark. I'm going to do exactly what I did before. And I'm going to release Mark from captivity. I can send for Jen and Father Lennart, but that kills the rest of my willpower, and it puts my tolerance of faith up to 9, and also my Inquisition power up to 8, which is ridiculous that I've got both of them so high. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'll release Mark from captivity because that knocks down with Jen, which is fine. Gets me theology, which doesn't matter because it's maxed, but doesn't impact anything else. So I will give him a lesser death. His body will disappear. He will be free after that, and then the crowd do not get their hands on him. And obviously Jen isn't happy about it. Sorry. Oh, Mama's deathbed. I don't think we have enough to do anything. Oh no, we can unite the family. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do what we did in the last playthrough. We're going to unite the family, which means our reputation is going to be tanked because Gloria is going to become a Brante, which is good, but the reputation takes a -10 hit, which means we are disgraced. Our family name is dirt. But Mother lives, Gloria's a Brante, and hopefully that means we can keep the family together. So, all good things. Yeah, so Gloria's gonna become a Brante. And ready for the most depressing stat change in the entire of this game. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. And the mark of dishonour. Worth it. Repentance. So Nathan is obviously... We all know of Nathan's struggles at this point. We go home one night, we find him in Father's study holding Father's dagger. He's determined that he needs to face the twins and ask them what he needs to do. And obviously he intends to do that through a lesser death. So I can not stop him, which drops my willpower. I can protect him, which means he is consumed by despair. Or I can call Mother, which means he's hopeful. Interesting. I'm going to do this, you know, because every other time I've chosen to not stop Nathan, which means he goes to the twins, he speaks to them, and he gets told that the Elder is going to return. And that makes him a prophet, basically. He then, like in future, becomes a prophet, and there's like a whole movement in the religion based around him and the Elder. But if I call Mother, he then becomes hopeful. And I get willpower. And the family gets unity, so why not? Mum's alive because of us, let's put her to good use. You confront Nathan with a question he has not considered. What would Mother say about this? Nathan stops, stunned, startled. His hand clutching the dagger is unmoving and limp, hanging in midair. Mother? You assure your younger brother that Mother will help him deal with his misfortune. You're going to call her right now. You keep your eyes trained on Nathan and you shout loudly for her. Your cry wakes up everyone in the house, but Mother is the first to reach you. She's very worried. Twins almighty! Nathan, stop, please! Nathan's frozen in place. His fingers grip the dagger's hilt even tighter. Mother, I'm so sorry, Mother. I have to go there. I have to reach the twins, just for a little while. I need them to hear me. Then call out to them from here. You don't need to be in the hereafter to be heard, my son. Remember, they are always watching. They see every moment of your life. All you need to do is pray to them, my son. The twins are always at your side, not only at the moment of your death. Your life is their gift, and they watch every single choice you make. Remember how you felt their gaze when you were a little boy? You hear a dull ringing sound as the steel clatters against the floor. Nathan has dropped the dagger. Yeah, but why won't they tell me anything? Why is dying the only way I can be close to them? My dear son, you must not dare to demand anything from the twins themselves. All you can do is ask. All you're doing right now is demanding. Listen to me, give me the answer. You cannot do this. You must address them in prayer, in honest, humble prayer born from the truth in your heart. It's hard work, but if such is their will, one day they will respond, and then you will find peace. Mother opens her arms for Nathan. He sobs loudly. His knees buckle as he nearly collapses into Mother's arms. It's a good thing your brother was by your side in this time of trouble. Twins bless you for this good deed, Niklaus. Nathan stops wasting time in taverns with suspicious characters. He spends every day in ardent prayer. His family watches the stark change in their wayward son with great surprise. And then, one day, Nathan shares a revelation with you. I spoke to them, brother. I was deep in humble prayer, not even hoping for an answer, but then I felt them listening to me. Felt it with all my being. It's like I left the mortal realm and went up to the heavens, and I dared to address them. I begged the twins for forgiveness, and the elder, he reached out to me. He wanted to respond to me, I know he did, but the youngest sword stopped us. It cut the bond between us, and it was like I fell back down from a great height. I saw compassion in the elder's eyes as I fell, and he followed me. He shall descend again. He shall witness our suffering and bring his mercy. And then the world will change at last. Well, that was fully worth doing. It looks like Nathan's still kind of on the right path, which is good. The denunciation. Oh yeah, forgot about this. Someone saw me and Jen getting freaky under the silver tree. Almost certainly someone working for Patriarch Cassius, because it's very convenient that it's just before the Sacred Conclave where we're going to call him out. But either way, we did it, it's true. So I can tell the truth, which knocks down my Inquisition power, which is alright. Or I can deny everything, which increases my Inquisition power. And Jen, I think, will literally explode. I'm going to do what I did before, tell the truth, say, yep, we did it. We haven't done it since, and we won't do it again. Sorry. We get a little bit of punishment. We have to basically stay in a box for a month and pray. That's essentially our punishment. Okay, so I believe the time is nigh. Oh, before that, our petition to become ennobled by the sword is it's reaching its conclusion, which obviously ain't going to happen because our reputation is nothing. But we can preserve the family, so good. It's what we wanted, and it's what we got. Now I just need to keep them alive this time. The heretic. So Father Ulrich, he is a Willist, which is a whole different sect of religion. He tried to recruit me into it last time because our Inquisition power was higher, which I refused because back then Old Faith was the only faith. But yeah, he's a Willist and he gets arrested for being a Willist and then he escapes. That's basically all this is. Day of Wrath? What? Okay, this is a concern. Freedom. So intoxicating. So easily sliding into lawlessness. The desire for freedom infiltrates minds and hearts like poison, leading people to commit monstrous crimes. Freedom is like fire. In untrained hands, it can burn everything down. Down with the Patriarch and his watchdogs. Death to the old believers. Avenge the blood of our brothers. Militant forces of the new believers have gathered in the streets. Now that they're strong, they've directed their anger at those they see as their enemies. Desire for revenge, rage, and the exhilaration of lawlessness fill the hearts of those who, until recently, lived in fear and knew no freedom. Enraged and drunk on power, they barge into the temples of the old faith, knowing neither lot nor law. The new believers march through the city and ransack its temples. Blood is shed. On that day, Many old believers suffer a lesser or true death in the house of the gods, and there is no mercy for them. Oh no, 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 I didn't want that! Oh no. Oh, this... No, I didn't want this. I've been deliberately balancing so this didn't happen. The silence of the gods. It's a rainy night. Neither the gendarmes nor the champions of faith are able to stop the militant forces of the new believers. This has been Sylvan's goal since the day you met him. You wait for Father Lennart by the entrance of the Temple of the Silver Tree. You hear footsteps. The abbot hurries down a narrow street. He's exhausted, barely standing, his white robes covered in dirt. His eyes are filled with fear. Brother Nicholas, you're here. You came. The abbot enters the empty temple. The sound of rain and gentle rustling of the silver tree calm you. Lennart is reluctant to speak. You ask the abbot where Sylvan is now and what he's planning. Sylvan found Cassius, Brother Nicholas. The old man is mad and will not listen to me. Supposed to believe that the twins are guiding him. He's planning to kill the Patriarch. Lennart pulls at his hair. Tears run down his face. You've never seen him in such a state. I never wanted this, Nicholas. I followed the teachings of Photis and taught people to find their own path to the twins, to listen to their will, to accept their love, to abide by their law. And look where it led us. Now they're following this lunatic and shedding the blood of their brothers. They demand to be led by someone with a sword or a lash. They can't live without it. They don't know how. They don't want to. As if oblivious to your presence, Lennart kneels and crawls towards the statue of the twins, leaving a wet trail on the floor behind him. Frenzied, the abbot beats his head against the marble tiles, appealing to the gods. I know I can never be forgiven, and I will face your wrath and your punishment. Give me a sign. Teach me. Set me on the right path. The only answer to Lennart's words are the patters of rain and the rustling of leaves. The elder gazes gently, the younger sternly. The gods are silent. So I can arrest... Well, no, I can't arrest Sylvan, because my valor's not high enough. Gather my strength and stop the crowd. Okay. Must stop this madness before the new believers led by Samosta capture Cassius. Okay, so that's going to knock my tolerance of faith down to 8, which is good. I'm going to die, which is okay. It's going to take my willpower down to 0. Is that a problem? No. Okay. That should be fine. Let's do it. Sylvan must be stopped. You forcibly pull the abbot to his feet. Where are they? The chapel by the north gate. You lead a squad of champions of faith across the city as rain pours down your face. The people of Anizotte watch you with fearful looks. Around the corner, you can see the chapel surrounded by new believers. The crowd is led by Sylvan Samosta. The fanatics are armed and holding torches. Here he is, brothers and sisters, he can't escape us! When he sees the squad of champions of faith, Sylvan Samosta only laughs. I told you, the Inquisition is no ally of ours. They've lost the trust of the twins, just as they've lost ours. The twins are on our side, I can hear their voice. Smite those who no longer serve the gods and have come here to defend a heretic. Overcome by a fanatical frenzy, Sylvan's militants attack your squad. They have no fear of death. They believe they're fighting for a just cause. The champions of faith can barely stand their ground against the onslaught of the frenzied mob. Yes, brothers and sisters, send them to the twins. May the younger judge them for their sins. The door of the chapel swings open. Patriarch Cassius takes advantage of the commotion and flees down a side street. Sylvan Samosta roars with laughter and chases after him. Don't let Cassius escape. Punish the heretical apostates. The militant forces are splitting up. You can't lose them. You dash after the Elder and the Patriarch. Hearing your footsteps, Sylvan turns around. A blow. You feel a sharp pain. The blade of a knife slides deep in your body. It takes everything you have not to lose consciousness, but the righteous indignation boiling within you lends you strength. You push the Elder to the ground. You strike him. Again. The old man's face is covered in blood. Another blow. Stop, Niklaus. Don't kill him. Jen's voice returns you to reality. You feel weak. Your mouth is filled with blood. Your stomach is burning with pain. Your life is slowly seeping from your body. Dazed, Jen tries to find the silver slabs with prayers to the Elder on your belt, but it's too late. The last thing you see is a figure of Cassius looming over Sylvan. You will die and meet your damn twins soon enough, old man. Okay, rebirth! You wake up. The air burns your lungs. Your arms and legs feel heavy, as if made of lead. With a considerable effort, you awkwardly rise from the stone slab. Jen greets you in the crypt. She looks utterly exhausted. You're back. Thank the twins. The execution's about to begin. Make haste. The sun is rising. An immense crowd is gathered in front of the Temple of the Silver Tree. People flood the adjacent streets. Sylvan Samosa and his supporters are tied to stakes, waiting to be burned. Despite his impending demise, the old man is smiling. Abbot Leonard stands, hunched over, surrounded by his visibly depleted flock of new believers. He tries not to meet the eyes of people who are about to die. Patriarch Cassius announces the sentence personally. For crimes against the true faith, for false teachings and brutal bloodshed, Sylvan Samosa and the other heretics are condemned to be burned at the stake until their true death. Now we'll finally get a chance to warm up. The twins will embrace us. Eternal bliss awaits us at the peak of the pillar. This is our path and our service. Jesus. Dozens of pyres are lit, one after another. Screams of agony fill the square. The people of Anizotte watch the execution in silence. Okay. Not happy about the fact I've died twice, like in the last hour. Trial day. So we're going to the Sacred Conclave. And we have to do something before Cassius is anointed Patriarch again. So let's overthrow Cassius. God, it's been a chore trying to get to this. It's been such a balance. The new faith has become strong in recent years and is now edging out the teachings of Isatius. Your name, now a symbol of the changes to come, is on the tip of every Magoran's tongue. The Patriarch ought to be elected by his congregation. It's time to give the people this right. You leave the Inquisition ward at dawn. Father Leonard meets you by the door of the temple. Cassius's guilt is undeniable. You found witnesses to all of his crimes. By exposing him, Leonard will be able to unify his congregation and take the sacred title of Patriarch from this heretic. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking good. Cassius's downfall. Cassius will deliver a sermon in the square by the Silver Tree at sunset, as is customary. Let us gather our flock and hasten there, Inquisitor Nicolaus. The Abbot's appeal gathers half the city. Like the tributaries of a turbulent river, the adepts of the new faith flow through the narrow streets to join the torrents that is the huge procession. These people, led by their abbots, are here for a common purpose: to depose Cassius. You are part of the power they represent. It's a dizzying realization. The square is full of old believers. It's so densely packed. There's no more room for those who wish to attend. Standing on the stairs of the temple, Cassius towers over the crowd, his trusted clergymen to either side of him. Brothers and sisters, for 8 years I have borne the burden of the Patriarchate of Margra, and every day of those 8 years I have prayed diligently to the gods, begging them for mercy. But I see now that no mercy awaits us, only the wrath of the gods. But the teachings of Photis, like venomous seeds cultivated by errant priests, have sprouted among commoners and nobles, and now they are poisoning the entire empire with their bitter venom. Cursed be they who are called upon to defend the true faith, but have instead nurtured heresy in their hearts. Come, Brother Nicolaus, the time has come to expose this heretic. The congregation stands aside, clearing a path straight to Cassius for you and the abbot. You walk towards the Patriarch, disregarding the angry shouts. Your mission is too urgent. Leonard walks up the white stairs. Holding your medallion high in your raised hand, you stand beside Cassius. In the name of the Inquisition, you command that his deceitful lips be sealed. The Patriarch falls silent, astonished by your sudden appearance. Every word you utter is a lie, Cassius. How dare you accuse others of heresy and speak of the gods when you yourself have strayed from the faith and befouled your soul with apostasy? The crowd gasps. The Patriarch's eyes narrow. Are you in a position to make accusations against me, new believer? Oh no, I am not. But those who stand by your side, averting their gaze before the implacable light of truth, they are, as are those who have poisoned you with their maleficent heresy. Here they all are, before us. You gesture to the priests by his side. They're speechless for a moment, then fall to their knees. Retribution is inevitable. Such is the law. These priests have confessed their crimes to the Inquisition. Now it's time for them to confess before the people who put their trust in them. Let the people behold their fear and shame. You hear a grumble, whistles, the crowd is buzzing. The people don't comprehend what's going on. They're frightened and agitated. The priests lower their eyes. Cassius casts a bitter gaze over those who betrayed him, then raises his hand with a sigh. Enough, I will not allow my followers to be humiliated. If you need the truth, I will relate it myself. Leonard taps his staff on the ground. The crowd falls quiet. The abbot's voice resounds over the square, piercing the tense silence. So, Brother Cassius, pray tell us, did you spread discord among the clergy of Margra? Did you lead them astray, encouraging them to reject the gods? Cassius replies, loudly and disdainfully. Yes, I did. I put the priests to the test with my words, one after another. I mourned those who were still strong in their faith in the twin gods, but they will never know a better life. I welcomed and instructed those who could hear me. Believe me, brothers and sisters, there were many, and there will be many more. Angry shouts boom from the square. Heretic! We trusted you! Pray tell us, did you harbour sinful witches and give them shelter? Suddenly the Patriarch sounds sorrowful. His voice loses the ring it had just a moment ago, becoming quiet and hoarse. I did. I'm not ashamed of it. The first lesson Father Mark taught me was that witches cannot live in the world created by the twins. There's no place for them, neither in this world nor in the hereafter. It was my duty to give them a chance to have a life, at least in this world. The angry roar of the crowd grows louder, the people's cries becoming more and more furious. Now you'll burn at the foot of the pillar along with them, witch lover! Was this lunatic really our pastor? Cassius casts a disdainful glance at the audience. In spite of everything, he remains dignified. Leonard continues. So, you admit to renouncing your faith and your service to the twins, but pray tell your flock, why did you lie to us, maintaining the image of a righteous old believer? The old faith, the new faith, they're both paths toward the cruel gods, paths that lead nowhere. Simple, brothers and sisters, I did it to support the schism within the church. Day after day I pitted you against each other, and even though I stand before the tribunal today, you cannot deny that I have succeeded. A shadow of sadness passes over the abbot's face. But why, Cassius? Why did you choose the path of heresy? What made you hate the gods? The scales fell from my eyes, Leonard. I saw that after we die, we will find ourselves in a prison of their absolute will. Only in this world do we have a chance to oppose them. But instead, we continue living in the same prison of our own volition. Father Mark, my mentor, discovered the truth, but he was too hesitant. We shouldn't just quietly slip away from their gaze. We must defy the gods, destroy their idols, burn the books that glorify them, obliterate their names from history, and build a new world. Striving to calm the raging crowd, Leonard is almost screaming. There is evidence that you were planning to profane the day of the Sacred Conclave. What were you going to do, Cassius? Oh, Leonard, you will never understand me. I was going to change the world. I was going to challenge them. The moment they appeared at the temple to greet the new Patriarch, they would have heard me. I would have liberated Margra, and then just as in the days of yore, the flame of rebellion against their world would have spread throughout the Empire. Patriarch's words can no longer be heard over the roar of the crowd. Anger, incomprehension, and sorrow distort the people's faces. Many old believers are weeping. Their trust has been cruelly betrayed. You step forward. The Inquisition demands that Patriarch Cassius be burned at the stake until his true death. Patriarch cackles, his hoarse laughter drowning out the shouts from the square. I regret only one thing, not being able to set this land free of the twins. I regret that the truth that was revealed to me remains beyond the comprehension of others. I regret that I will not see their temples torn down. I regret that I will not hear the twins defamed by every living person. You've said enough. Stop. You saw it all. You heard it all. There can be no better proof that the next Patriarch must be chosen by the parish. Priests of the old faith have lost our trust. They elected a heretic to lead us. The people applaud Lennart. You hear your name amid the shouts of approval. Under your command, Cassius and his entourage are marched out of the square. You need to get them to the Inquisition ward before the crowd tears them to pieces. When you leave the ward, you see Jen coming towards you. Her face is frozen in fury, her fists clenched. She's accompanied by champions of faith led by Captain Agorinim. Never stand in my way again, Brante. When I look at you, I see neither a brother nor an inquisitor. You've brought down one heretic only to elevate another. It's a betrayal of everything we've worked for, everything we were, everything we could have been. I've been indulgent with you all these years, but this is unforgivable. I will not allow Lennart to become Patriarch. Go, and never return. Jen walks back into the ward. The soldiers, once loyal to you, follow her. Is this a victory? Cassius may have been convicted of heresy, but his conviction will not heal the division between the new faith and the old that's been growing for the past 8 years. Will the church ever be whole again? Well, probably not. In fact, I think there's going to be a riot. Achievement! Nice. Nice. Peacetime Endeth. Well, this is going to be the first run-through we get done in one video. This is exciting. Oh, also, I have 40 out of 89 achievements. I am not even at the halfway point. I have put 35 hours into this game in total. That's a lot.
At last, the day has come which would decide my fate, as well as that of my family, and perhaps the entire Empire. The day of the Revolt.
So how's this going to play out this time? Let's see if I can get an ending where many people don't have to die. Cassius's overthrow was a severe blow to the old faith. Disturbances have broken out all over the city. Your patronage of the new faith has transformed it from an oppressed movement into a prominent power, and this power stands poised to eradicate the old church and establish its own rule throughout Magra. The new believers are led by Abbot Lennart. Countless citizens have joined him since Cassius's death. The old faith's time has passed. It must make way for the true teachings. As Patriarch, I, Lennart, will lead you to freedom from the lots. The entire Empire will eventually follow Margaret on this path. Hordes of new believers occupy the temples, squares, and streets. They're joined by disaffected citizens, conspirators, and heretics of all stripes. The name of Inquisitor Brante is on the tip of everyone's tongue. Your victories have gained you the support of priests of the new faith and their flock, but the real battle for the people's souls is yet to come. The revolt is coming. Okay. Ooh. So the revolt seems to be in a lot better position. Everything seems to be in a lot better position than it was before. This is good. Okay, so I'm taking the side of the revolt this time. Interesting. Oh, which is bad that the revolt is... No, it's bad that the revolt's low now. Damn it! Okay, I'm going to write this all down as per usual. Hopefully I'll have military victory to fall back on if we need it, but... I don't know, peaceful would be nice, because I'm yet to have a peaceful outcome through all my many playthroughs. Okay, first things first. Let's figure out what we're doing with the family. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them out of the city. I'm going to attempt flee the city again, now that I'm on a different approach, see if that helps. I don't think it will. I think we're going to get stopped and have to come back, and then because the revolt's high, the family's probably going to die. But still, you don't know till you try. That has cost me dear willpower as well. Oh yeah, this is normally when Nathan becomes a prophet. I can still get him to speak to the elder. Okay, I'm going to do that. I like that. I like that ending for Nathan. So Nathan can go and become a prophet. On with your prophetess ways, young man. Okay, let's hope this works. Because I don't want the family to die again. Ah, shit. So I can attack the guards, which ups my revolt, which I need to be upped, and it drops my common folk by 1. Or I can turn the carriage around. Oh man, that kills my willpower even more. Oh man. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, no. This is happening. I'm gonna restart this and they can just stay at home. Hopefully, because I'm now revolting, I can find a way for them not to die. But I cannot go into this with -10 willpower. That is the very definition of no bueno. Okay, you can stay at home. I'm gonna take the willpower and I really hope that I haven't just traded willpower for your lives. Nathan can still become a prophet though. I'll allow it. Okay, mustering the forces. So the last straw have come out of the shadows amidst the chaos. Now, they're now picking this moment to stoke the flames of rebellion. So we need to figure out where we're going to be able to start mustering up some forces from. Okay, good. So I can arm the new believers, which ups my revolt, troops, and common folk, which is good because troops only needed to be at 1 anyway, so that gets us a little bit of breathing room with that. Common folk needs to be at 3, and this gets them at 3, and it puts the revolt at 5, which is good because that needs to be at 6. Perfect. So you surround yourself with people who are ready to take up arms and fight for the revolt and the new faith. Goody. Without a proper army, the revolt doesn't stand a chance against the Legion. You walk from temple to temple, calling out to everyone who's willing to arm themselves and defend the new faith. You bear the word of the twins. You speak with their voice. The flock knows this full well. Next on the list is a temple on the edge of the Brass District. The same temple where you received your first sacrament. You see an old priest on the steps addressing the people around. Could this be the same man who struck you with the sacred lash all those years ago? It's not your lot to fight. That is the purview of the noble lords. Put down your weapons, you fools. Restrain yourselves. Stop this before your souls are doomed to an eternity of torment at the foot of the pillar. You face the old man with a smile. He's blind. All he can do is frighten people. He can't see the truth. You respond to him with the words of the elder. He who entereth the house of a strong man cannot take it by force unless he bindeth his hands. Only then can the house be plundered. That is why Gaius Tempest is coming, to bind the hands of the strong. And then the houses will be plundered. But Tempest won't take the people's riches. He'll take their twins given freedom. He's coming to take away their right to choose their own lots and their own path to the shining pillar. If the people you see before you wish to be bound, they should flee with their tails between their legs. But if they wish to be free, they must cast away all fear and have the courage to stand their ground. The old priest is silent. The crowd of new believers shouts in approval, chanting enthusiastically. Down with the lots, down with the old faith. All doubt has been cast away. For the first time, the people around you raise their knives, hatchets, and axes, not to toil humbly, but to depose their eternal masters. Under your guidance, they will see this fight to the end. Do you have what it takes to realise their hopes and guide them to victory? It's time to find out. The sound of gunfire fills the city streets once again. The lull has passed. Whew, okay. So far, we're going in the right direction. The order divided. The people within the Inquisition, the Old Faith and the New Faith, are kind of going at it with each other. And Jen takes control of the Inquisition and basically orders all of the new believers to be executed as heretics. So we have to try and step in. Hopefully we can. Okay, so I can convince her to spare the Inquisitors, which knocks down my willpower, which is maybe okay. Okay, what does this do? So clergy puts us up to 2, which is good. I need that. Free the captive Inquisitors by force loses me some troops. So I'm going to accept death. Right, well let's do this then. Let's convince her to spare the Inquisitors. So that gets my revolt up to 6, which is where it needs to be. My clergy up to 2, which is 1 off where I need it to be. And common folk literally can't go any higher. So it takes my willpower down to 0, and no, that's okay. You persuade Jen to spare the new believers kneeling before her. You hurry to Zhen's side. She motions for the Champions of Faith to put the execution on hold. Once she's very close, you speak to her so quietly that only she can hear you. Why would she choose a lot that's not her own? Why would she seek to rule over the Order and punish those who stand in her way? She chose a different path long ago. She needs to follow it. How could she even think of executing her fellow Inquisitors? Their deaths will change nothing. The fate of the world will be decided by the gods. Not by us, and not in this yard. Why doom your own soul for no reason? You see Zhen's lips begin to tremble. She turns away from everyone else, looking straight at you. You mouth a plea. Last chance. Just one last chance. For them and for you. Please. She opens her mouth as though she wants to say something, then bites her lips so hard it turns white. With a loud sigh, she once again assumes an indifferent expression and turns to face the kneeling Inquisitors. To the foot of the pillar with you heretics. Let them go. But stay out of our way. And remember, if you aren't willing to reject your new faith, run away. As far as you can. Find a hole in the ground and cower there like venomous snakes. Because when the rebellion is quashed, the Order will find every last heretic in Mara and burn you all alive. Captain Agorian, ready your troops. We're going. The Inquisitors rise slowly to their feet, afraid to move. Your heart is pounding in your chest. Your fellow new believers surround you. They praise your courage and faith, and they want you to lead them. We knew you'd come, Inquisitor Brante. We're going to help Father Leonard now, right? We have to show the people the Inquisition isn't their enemy. You try your best to gather your thoughts. It's too early for Leonard to head for the Silver Tree. It'll be a while before the new faith procession begins. There's still time to find allies. Suddenly, a flustered priest runs through the gates. Dorius Norton and his noble militia, they're going to the Prefecture to execute Sir Elborn for treason. Clarity hits your mind. Prefect Elborn has always stood with the new faith. He'll be a powerful ally, if he survives. You must hurry. You order your comrades to get ready. The Prefecture awaits. Okay. Well, this is looking pretty good. I know this game well enough now to know that things can be taken away from you at any moment. So I'm prepared for it. Yeah, so Dorius Norton has, as it says here, laid siege to the Prefecture. And we need to either interfere, not interfere, or do something in between. So let's see what options we actually have first. See if we can keep Prefect Elborn alive. Yes, I can! Happy days. So that's going to put the power to 4, which is okay. That's within my allotted district. Revolt goes up to 2, which is fine. Troops goes up to 1, which is fine. Nothing goes down, so good. Good. I have never done this with Elborn living before. He's always died. Elborn has always protected the common folk. Now it's time for them to protect him. I am growing increasingly concerned about my willpower though, because I'm now at -5, which is a problem. Otton's riders advance on the gendarmes. You do nothing, the Prefecture will fall. You need to act now. You leap into the mob, scramble up onto an overturned carriage, and call out to the throng. You hear voices throughout the crowd. It's Brante! Nicolaus Brante wants to say something! You shout as loudly as you can. People of Anizotte, do not fear the wrath of the nobles. Your lives are finally yours. For the first time since the Empire was founded, cast off the lot of humility. You are many, and they are few. It's time to fight. For years and years, the Prefecture has always been there to protect the rights and freedoms of the common man. We can't let it fall into enemies' hands. Stop them. Protect the Prefect. Elborn hears you over the din of the struggle on the Prefecture stairs. His voice joins yours. Show them you have no fear. Take your rights by force. I, Prefect Elborn, I am by your side. Your words inspire the people with a sense of solidarity. They have much to lose now, and they will not surrender their freedom without a fight. In the blink of an eye, the unwieldy throng bristles with heavy sticks, wooden clubs, and makeshift spears. You start giving orders from your impromptu podium, commanding this newfound army to assault the rear of Otton's cavalry. Cut the rabble down. No mercy. The cavalry turns to face them with an onslaught of sharp steel. Bones crack beneath hooves, swords slice through the fenceless flesh, a stench of blood fills the square as fallen bodies dissipate to glimmering dust. You keep doling out furious commands, trying to ensure that the common folk are not routed. Hold the line, stand your ground. Better a lesser death than eternal slavery. The riders smash into them again, but the line holds. The people have numerical superiority, and their spears and clubs strike back. The cavalry begins to drown in a sea of humanity. The gendarmes hit Otton's warriors from the rear. One by one, the riders are dragged from their horses. The noble militia falters. Traitorous filth! Retreat! Otton and his surviving horsemen turn tail and flee, furiously carving a path with their swords. At least half of Otton's men have fallen in this battle. Cries of victory fill the square. The commoners shake their weapons, eager to follow your orders. But it's far too early to celebrate. You've only fought off one assault. Prefect Elborn finds you in the boisterous crowd. Niklaus, your courage has saved the Prefecture. I'm with you till the end. Whatever you need from me, you will have it. We need to hurry now. The noble militia we've seen in the city pales in comparison to the forces of the Legion. I'll gather our forces at the Prefecture and establish a unified command structure. You should find Abbot Lennart and aid him in any way you can. His procession must be en route to the Silver Tree by now. The enemies of the New Faith are waiting there, weapons in hand. They'll massacre each other if we don't stop them, Brante. This city is a powder keg with a short fuse. More fire and blood is the last thing we need. What we need is more allies, and having Lennart on our side is crucial. We need a spiritual leader who can unite the city against the Legion. You nod to Elborn. The fate of the feud between the two faiths will be decided in the clash of the Silver Tree. You have to be there. You wish the Prefect luck, then muster your loyal forces and head for the tree. Okay. I'm not happy about the fact I'm exhausted, but everything else is looking good. The March of the New Faith. Lennart has gathered everybody, and they are walking towards the temple, so he can be anointed Patriarch. Zhen has got together all of the Champions of Faith, and Donk, they are right at the temple to stop. Well, this looks promising, so lead the procession to the temple. So troops gets up to is maxed out, common folk is maxed out, nobles goes up to 1, which is just where I need it to be. Perfect. If I can become the leader of the rebellion, then that's it. That's everything ticked off for a peaceful end. Oh, this is exciting. Lennart will become Patriarch. The clergy will support his candidacy. Let's do this. Achievement. You step onto the temple stairs and address Zhen and the Champions of Faith. These people will not turn back now. That cannot happen. The old faith is dead. How blind must one be to not see it? Zhen and the warriors of the church have no choice but to accept their fate. Those of common lot will never decide the fate of the church, no matter how many of them come here today. No, Zhen's wrong. She only sees those who were told to suffer by their lot, but they're not the only ones who came here today. You address the crowd. Those who receive the sacraments of the old faith before joining Lennart's, may they set foot upon these stairs. May the Inquisition see that the new faith is the one true faith. One by one, dozens of people trickle through the mob to answer your call. You know them all, so does Zhen. Priests, abbots of Magran temples, monks, acolytes, preachers, men and women, old and young, walk up the stairs and stand behind you. Among them, right by your side, are fellow Inquisitors of the Order. You've spent the last 80 years guiding them in matters of faith, and now they have decided. Zhen stares at them, utterly baffled. The Champions of Faith behind her lower their blades. A stunned silence falls. Lennart turns to face the people. With a faint smile, he stretches an arm forward. And the people begin to move. Oh, wait! Stop it, you lunatics! But nobody listens to Zhen. She tries to hold people back by the wrists, tries pushing them back from the steps. All in vain. She finally collapses at the door. exhausted. The people keep walking past her. Those who do notice Jen gaze at her with silent compassion. Thousands of people gather beneath the majestic vault of the sacred temple. They keep coming back until there's no space left, and then they crowd the stairs, looking inside through the open temple doors. The stone faces of the twins watch them indifferently from above. Lennart walks up to the altar and kneels. You stand by his side as thousands and thousands watch intently. The gods are here. A profound, familiar silence swallows all sound inside the temple at the Silver Tree, dimming the light of the candles. Everything is still. Your own heartbeat is the only sound you hear. At this moment, you're the one who must ask the twins to grant Lennart permission to become the new Patriarch. Your words surge through the heavy air. Let the will of the people be done beneath the watchful eye of the twins. People of Anizotte, do you wish for Father Lennart to be our Patriarch? Do you wish for him to be our voice before the twins and our mentor in this worldly realm? The answer comes in the form of thousands of voices that seem to shake the very walls of the temple. Yes. Father Lennart closes his eyes and solemnly blesses himself with the sign of the twins. Before the faces of the gods, by the will of the people, I hereby accept the great burden of the Patriarchate of Magra. O heavenly lords, givers of life, the younger, defender of the world, judge and counsellor, the elder, the spirit of truth and love, filling all with your presence. Witness now our new faith, which guides to you all those who have chosen their own lot in life. The heavy air grows incredibly thick, almost solid. The last echo of Lennart's voice dissolves in this clotted tension. There's silence all around you. The gods are watching. Silence. Lennart closes his eyes. The feeling passes. The air melts, ready to fill your lungs again. It rings with the echo of imperceptibly quiet footsteps. The twin gods have accepted the will of the people. The new Patriarch emerges from the sacred temple to face the elated thousands who wait outside, with you, his greatest supporter, by his side. Sorry, Jenny baby. Okay, let's keep this train rolling. Come on, Jim. Be dignified in defeat. Jen stumbles away from the square and heads towards the base of the Silver Tree. You follow her. You can guess where she's going. You carefully enter the familiar grotto formed by the gigantic roots. Jen's there, on her knees, tears streaming down her cheeks. Her hands are on the bark of the tree as she prays. She doesn't notice you. So I can take Jen into custody just to rub salt in the wound. Or I have nothing more to tell her. I mean, is she going to pose a threat? Really? Okay, if she didn't hate me so much, I could have converted her to the new faith. Interesting. Okay, I'm just going to leave her by herself. I don't want to kill her. You've nothing more to say to her, so you leave the grotto beneath the tree. Respecting Jen's silent solitude, this could well be the last time you see her. Returning to your men, you hear rumours. The people of Anizotte are moving to Empire Square. Sophia, the leader of the revolt, wants to address the city in front of the Chancellery. You have to be there. Gather your men and leave the Silver Tree for the heart of the city. The sun slowly begins to set. I mean, I feel like she's not really a threat anymore, is she? Hopefully. Hopefully this doesn't bite me in the arse. Okay. Let's find out if I can take the leadership of the rebellion. So we're heading to the square. It is full of rebels. Shit. Oh no, 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 no. No! No, 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 no! It's willpower. Willpower has bitten me in the arse. Oh no. Okay, hold up. Hold up. See if I can change any of my decisions. If I get there and I can't, then so be it. I will accept the Anizotte massacre, which is the ending I will end with, but if I have the chance to maybe not have that, then I'm going to take it. I know how I can claw back some willpower. My chat with Nathan. If I don't have my chat with Nathan where he becomes a prophet, I gain 5 willpower. Oh, okay. Yeah, if I walk away without giving Nathan an answer, then I gain 5 willpower. Sorry, little buddy. I need it. A nearby gunshot startles you, brings you back to reality. You shake off the reverie and focus on your task at hand. There's no time to waste. You tell your brother you have no time for theological debates. You have to go. Nathan's mouth begins to tremble and his shoulders slump. He barely manages to stay calm and composed. You're right, Nicholas. I'm sorry for bothering you. I just thought we might not get another chance. Well, off you go. Nathan's bewildered eyes follow you to the gates. He hangs his head, still clutching his old prayer book, his hunched figure looking even smaller now. You leave him to his own devices, face to face with the sprawling, living, mad, mysterious world around him. Okay. So every other decision I can make exactly the same, and then hopefully when we get to leader of the revolt, I can overthrow Sophia. We'll see. Thank God. So I can now either overthrow Sophia, or I can unite the rebels around her. I don't want to do that. I want to overthrow her. Which knocks the revolt down to 6, which is fine. Knocks the troops down to 2, which is fine. Common folk are maxed out. Clergy goes up to 3, which is exactly where I need it to be. Marvellous. I lose the last of my willpower, but hopefully that's okay. Let's find out. You make your way through the crowd and reach the Chancery stairs. Your silhouette seems to blaze in the light of the setting sun. You raise a clenched fist into the air, demanding silence. Your voice booming, you make your proclamation. Sophia is no longer the leader of the revolt. I, Nicolaus Brante, lead you now. People freeze in astonishment when they hear this. A murmur of discontent spreads throughout the crowded square. Who does this Brante guy think he is? We follow Sophia, not you. The discontent grows, but you refuse to relent. Sophia was leading our city to destruction, slaughter, and death. Had she remained in charge, it would have meant suffering for us all. You're gathered here not to revel in revenge or destruction. For the first time in history, you have what it takes to lay the foundation of a new world. A world where justice is the same for all, where all estates are equal, where we are free of the lots. You will defend this city. You will fend off the Legion. You will persevere and show the Empire that you are a force to be reckoned with. And once they finally realise they have no choice but to reckon with you, they will reckon with all the commoners of the Empire. You end your speech, exhausted and hoarse. The murmur fades away. All fear and uncertainty are gone. Thousands of people in the square are no longer suspicious of you. They are hopeful once more. You can see it in their eyes. Then come the first shouts. Lead us, Brante! We're right behind you! Brante! Nicolaus Brante! Suddenly, a loud, shrill cry resounds behind you, cutting through the cheers. Traitor! Death to the traitor, Brante! The crowd falls silent. All eyes are on the figure descending from the Chancery stairs. Twin sepia flames smoulder in the young woman's eyes. Brante is lying to you people. If you follow him, you'll be slaves until the end of time. Don't you know that our enemy can't be bargained with? First they'll throw us a bone just to restore order, and then they'll get even stronger and tighten the nooses around our necks. We can't reason with them. We have to destroy them. Today is the first day of a new era. We will begin by taking back our city. We'll eliminate anyone who dares to stand in our way. Then we will declare war against the old regime, against the entire empire. No mercy. Upon hearing these words, even the most frantic rebels fall silent. A frightened murmur ripples through the crowd. Is Sophia asking them to take on the entire world? Sophia raises her arms skyward. Her eyes are like two blazing suns. Anyone who turns tail and runs is an enemy of the revolt. Our enemy. The crowd remains silent, transfixed by Sophia's glowing gaze. No one will dare utter a word against her now. This is your last chance to take action before the entire mob turns on you. You take a deep breath and scream at the top of your lungs. She's a witch! It's a witchcraft! Sophia's using magic to control your minds. Kind of a low blow, but it's probably going to work. Incredulous murmurs spread throughout the crowd. You shout as loud as you can. Sophia's just as much of a tyrant as those she wants to overthrow. She'll take away your old shackles and replace them with magical ones. She doesn't care about the people. She only wants one thing, to watch the world burn. The thousands of eyes around you no longer reflect Sophia's golden glow. Confusion spreads among the people. Who should they listen to? Then the shouts begin. Burn the Lime Witch! She wants us all dead! Desperate for support, Sophia glances back at her gang. Enough of this. Kill Brante and his lapdogs. The time for words has passed. The last straw soldiers reach for their guns. But you're already shouting orders. Your battalions advance with them. The mob is split by ensuing chaos. Some commoners defend Sophia's cause, while others side with you. More still flee the square as fast as their legs can carry them. The last straw. Ready, aim, fire. Rebel squads dash out of the chancellery, firearms in hand. The volleys come in quick succession. A hail of bullets hit the square, sparing no one from either side. Commoners trying to escape die along with your soldiers. Dozens of people fall to the ground in the mindless, jostling throng, only to be trampled by the fleeing horde. Blood runs down the cobblestones. The corpses of those killed dissipate in shimmering mist. The battle is a short one. Firearms hold back your assault, the enemy's bullets taking your men out one by one. But you outflank Sophia's forces and engage them in hand-to-hand combat. The surviving insurgents drop their weapons and beg you not to execute them. They're willing to fight on your side and hand their leader over to you. Sophia is quickly bound and hurled to the ground at your feet. The rebel leader glares at you from behind a mass of tangled hair. You remind the wounded soldiers that time is of the essence. You must dispose of Sophia for good. The time has come for the people's cause. You commanded your squad to stand Sophia against the wall of the chancellery and take aim. Sophia scrambles to her feet with difficulty. Her face is a hideous mask of bruises. Too bad it took me so long to figure out what you really are, Brante. Too bad. But this ain't over yet. Before you know it, you'll be burning in the fire I started. You and this whole ugly world. Bitter tears run down Sophia's cheeks. For a split second, you see the frightened girl from next door, pursued by terrified horsemen. You cut Sophia off and address what remains of the mob. It's time for Sophia to stand trial. They will judge her in the name of the people of Anizotte. The woman was plotting to destroy the city and start a bloodbath that would doom us all, commoners and the other estates alike. For the sake of the people, Sophia must be sentenced to true death. People of Anizotte, what say you? Death! A volley of gunshots. Sophia is hurled against the wall. Shaking violently, she collapses to the ground. Her eyes, which had shone with a vivid yellow glow just moments before, are extinguished forever. The soldiers slowly lower their firearms. You turn to the silent crowd. The verdict of the People's Court has been carried out. The citizens have saved Anizotte from death and destruction. Tonight, we must also save it from the Legion. We will no longer be led by Sophia's blind hatred. We will stand firm. We know what we're fighting for. You see hope return to the faces of the disconcerted people. They were shaken by Sophia's death, but you showed them a new goal, and they have cast their fears aside. Lead us, Brante! Even the old guard of the last straw who have always been loyal to Sophia will follow you. The Revolt City has accepted you as its new leader. Meanwhile, the watchmen at the gate bring news. The Legion is only a few hours away. The final battle is drawing near. Will the outcome of the revolt be decided in combat, or is there a peaceful solution? It all depends on the actions you take in the coming hours. Okay. Achievement! Oh no, I'd forgotten about this. Okay, first of all, peace with the Overseer. Cool, I have everything I need for peace with the Overseer. Good. Now let's hope I don't screw it up. So, an angry mob is descending on my family home. Hopefully as I'm leading the revolt, I can kind of talk them out of it now. This might result in me having to, restart again. Because my backup is flee alone, which means they will die again. I ideally want to save them. So if I call in the troops, it knocks the revolt down to 5, which is 1 less than it needs to be. It knocks the troops down to 1, which is okay. Troops can be at 1. So I just need in the next action from this, Revolt to gain 1 at least. We'll see. If not, I'm going to have to restart and come back and do Flee Alone, but I really don't want to have to do that. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. You carefully peer out the window. The attackers are too many. Your small squad has already fallen. There's only one chance for you to protect your home. Call in reinforcements. You could sneak outside and dash to where your men are stationed. But if you were to return to something more than a heap of smouldering ash, someone must stall the attackers until help arrives. I'm afraid that if they see me, they won't even bother to talk some. Nathan suddenly speaks from behind Father. His voice is unusually firm. I'll go. I have something to tell them. Interesting, so if I had chosen to make Nathan a prophet, he wouldn't be in the house right now. Interesting. He squares his shoulders, his gaze fixed resolutely before him. Is this really your little brother? Father blocks his way. No, Nathan. Come to your senses. You put your hand on Father's shoulder. The family has always considered Nathan a failure, but you know that he's anything but. Let him speak to the crowd. Father steps aside, staring at his youngest son in astonishment. Nathan flings the door open and walks outside to face the enraged horde. One of them came out on his own. Take him alive. Paying the old madman no heed, Nathan begins his speech. He speaks quietly, but sincerely, and the furious crowd soon falls into a strange stupor. Listen to me, people. I know you're suffering. I used to be just like your leader. I lost my faith in the twins. I thought they hated us, their own creation, and that's why they doomed us to eternal misery, both in this world and the next. But then the truth was revealed to me. I beheld the elder up close, just as I see you now. I saw pity writ upon his face, and he gave me an omen. Let it be known that he has descended to the world again. He will behold our suffering. He will show us mercy. The world will not end. Upon hearing Nathan's words, the crowd murmurs in awe. Could one of the twins really be speaking through it? But you have no time to think. You dash out the backyard, several thugs await you there. Desperation lends you strength. You run past your foes, leap over the fence in a single bound, and land in the darkness of the back alley. Run, Brante. Don't stop. Your heart is pounding in your chest. You never knew you could run so fast. Just hope you're not too late. At last, you reach your troops. Frantically shouting orders, you assemble a large unit and immediately head back. When you finally return to the house, you hear furious cries. Nathan's sermon is being drowned out by the frantic shrieks of the false prophet. How long are you going to listen to him, you fools? He's just a noble brat trying to bargain for a few more minutes of life. He ain't even a priest. He thinks the elder really spoke to him. It's all lies. The end of the world is nigh. No one can stop us no more. Not the nobles, not the priests, not even the twins themselves. In our final hours, we're taking power into our hands. Feel our wrath. Brante family, we hereby sentence you to true death by fire. Not daring to defy the old man, the crowd is about to hurl torches into the house. You order your men to attack. Your squad rushes through the gates. The lowborn thugs are caught unawares, but their leader urges them to fight. The hordes fight fearlessly, sparing neither their enemies nor themselves. Your soldiers were not expecting such resistance from indignant rabble. You lead your troops forward relentlessly, but they take heavy casualties. Fight 'em, punish 'em. We got nothing more to fear. The end times is already here. Axe in hand, the old madman rushes at Nathan as he calls out to the twins. To the foot of the pillar with you, heretic! You shout at the top of your lungs. Nathan, run! The door swings open. Father dashes out to help his youngest son. The leader of the mob raises his axe, aiming for Nathan's head. Your brother just stares back at him, completely still. Suddenly, the old man's hand begins to tremble. The weapon falls out of his fingers. He gapes into Nathan's eyes in bewilderment. A split second later, Father runs his sword straight through the man's throat with perfect precision. His voice booms above the battle. Run, you bastards! Leave our home and never come back! The mob hesitates. One by one, the looters drop their weapons and flee. Nathan's right, and the sun really will rise tomorrow. They still have much to lose. You have won. Breathing heavily, you exchange tired glances with your father and younger brother. You have defended your ancestral home. Father lowers his weapon with a sigh of relief. Niklaus, Nathan, I was so afraid I'd lose you both. Nathan smiles serenely, as though a bloody battle had not been waged in front of him. The twins love us, Father. Soon they'll release this world from its suffering. You embrace your father and younger brother warmly. You cannot stay any longer. Preparations for the decisive battle are not finished. I understand, son. Take care. I hope to see you again soon. May the twins protect you, brother. You leave part of your squad behind in case of another attack. You say your goodbye and take off to face your fate. It's almost midnight. Oh, achievement! Okay, well either way I have that achievement now, so that's good. Okay, I just need one revolt. That's it. That's all I need. Come on, final hour. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, well I may as well go see Lennart, I guess. Right, let me just double check, make sure everything else is right. Cool, yeah. We're going to go see Lennart, because that gets me some willpower as well. Coolios, coolios. In order to crush the Legion, you'll have to win over more commoners and clergymen. At this point, the word of the twins is the only thing still capable of influencing those with lingering doubts. You take a small squad and immediately set out for the temple at the Silver Tree. The square in front of the temple is packed with people. It's become filled with tents and crew barracks in a matter of hours. Patriarch Lennart and his flocks are helping the wounded, sharing food and shelter with the commoners. The newly elected Patriarch is so exhausted he can barely stand, but he still finds enough strength to offer you a friendly greeting. Brother Niklaus, I'm so glad to see you escape the carnage. How may I be of help? You get right to the point. Although Lennart was elected Patriarch in the sight of the twins themselves, there are still many old believers among the people of Anizotte. This is his last chance to win them over. He must not squander it. You're quite right, brother. I must speak to them. Let your people bring those who hesitate hither, beneath the silver tree. I will promise my guardianship and the protection of the twins themselves to all who come to the temple and accept the new faith. You order your people to spread the word of the Patriarch's promise. A communion ceremony will be held by the silver tree tonight. Despite all the disturbances and fighting in the streets, many commoners and priests still gather for the sermon. The shining pillar glimmers above the square. The leaves of the silver tree suddenly rustle so loudly, they drown out the drumbeat of the oncoming legion. Lennart addresses the crowd gathered before him. Even on a night as troubled as this, his resonant voice still instills hope in those who hear it. My brothers and sisters in faith, I, the first Patriarch of Margra, chosen by the people, have glad tidings for you. The lots are no more. You are all free to choose your own path in this worldly life. An excited murmur ripples throughout the crowd. But what if you're wrong, Lennart? But what if we disobey the will of the twins and get sent to the foot of the pillar to endure eternal torment? I understand your fears, but they're nothing before the great will of the twins, and today their will has acknowledged the new faith. Upon hearing this, an awed hush falls over the crowd. Both commoners and clergymen kneel obediently to accept the new faith. No, my brethren, stand. You have knelt long enough. Neither the sword nor the lash will ever touch you again. Only the word of the twins will guide you to the peak of the pillar. As you hear their word, stall as equals. Accept their blessing. Dumbfounded, not quite believing their ears, the people rise to their feet. I, Lennart, Patriarch of Margra by the will of the people and the twins, hereby accept you into the bosom of our new church. From this day forth, your only lot is the one you choose for yourselves. Your destiny is your own. Fight for it, and you shall be victorious. The temple square shakes with shouts of joy. Even the silver tree itself seems to echo these cries, its roots and branches quivering. Midnight strikes. You can hear the menacing tread of the Legion outside the city walls. The time has come. You order your troops to assemble and prepare to defend the wall. Okay. So, I think we might actually be able to get ourselves a peaceful ending here, which is baffling. Battle for Anizotte. So we've got control of the main gate, and we are in charge of the city, basically, at the moment. But the Legion is en route. The Legion arrive at the city gates led by Gaius Tempest himself. He sends a herald to the gates to try and start a little peace treaty between us. So now is the moment of truth. Ah, yes. Oh, sweet. Mwah, 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 mwah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Achieve peace. I did not think this was going to happen today. Muskets in hand, the soldiers on the walls freeze in anticipation, awaiting your decision. For the last time, you consider the consequences. The fate of Anizotte depends on your reply. You cast a glance over the imposing ranks of your rebel troops. Every commoner in Anizotte is on your side. There are many among the nobles and clergy who will support you when the time is right. All you have to do is withstand the first onslaught of the Legion. This will force the Overseer to listen to the city's demands. From atop the city gate, you proclaim that the Overseer no longer has any subjects in the city. From this day forth, Anizotte is free. Hundreds of allies roar in support behind you. We're no servants of yours anymore. Get lost. The herald silently retreats to the Legion formation. There's a brief moment of quiet. Holding your breath, you watch the menacing enemy army. Finally, the silence is broken by a drum roll and the stamping of thousands of feet. The Legion's about to attack. 2 arms. Whilst your soldiers are preparing to face the Legion assault, you consider your plan to defend your position. You swiftly give orders to the squads on the wall, as though placing toy soldiers. The fortress of Anizotte has withstood many an assault. These stones saw many battles here before the foundation of the Empire. The Legion, on the other hand, rushed here equipped with nothing but jerry-rigged siege ladders. Gaius Tempest needs to pacify the city this very night. Therefore, his soldiers will try and make their way over the walls, open the gate from inside, and let the main forces in. Legion, attack! The Overseer sends his first battalions at the walls closest to the gates. The Archnean remains with his elite cavalry, observing the assault from afar. You order the gunmen to take cover behind the Merlins. The rest of the soldiers need to throw back the siege ladders, no matter the cost. Not a single legionnaire can be allowed to scale the wall. From atop the gate, you watch intently as the ranks of Legion begin the assault. When the time is right, you order your gunmen to fire. The first ranks of Legion soldiers are felled by rebel muskets. Most of their bodies glow dimly and turn to ash, but some remain where they are. Legion veterans who have met their fourth and true death. The gunfire is followed by a volley of stones and arrows. The wave hits the wall and recedes. The first attempt to storm the walls has been thwarted. The rebels jeer at the retreating Legion soldiers, but you sternly cut them short. Your goal is not to antagonise the Overseer into attempting another assault against the city. You may not be able to repel another attack. Perturbed by their unforeseen failure, the Legion temporarily retreats. The Imperial warriors were expecting to face a handful of rebels, not an entire city. A long-awaited lull ensues. It's now or never. You'll use your influence to win freedom for Anizotte without further bloodshed. You gather your most trusted allies and assemble an entourage. Commoners, priests, even noblemen. Representatives of all 3 estates will go with you to meet Gaius Tempest and inform him that the city will no longer submit to his rule. You order the gate to be unlocked. It swings open with a heavy groan to let your procession through, then closes again. You fearlessly approach the Legion camp, your voice booming. You announce that you've come to speak to Overseer Gaius Tempest on behalf of the free city of Anizotte. You're made to wait. The Legion soldiers form a circle around you, unsure of what to do with you. Finally, the Imperious ruler himself comes to meet you clad in ancient Archnean armour. Despite his army's defeat, Gaius Tempest remains composed and dignified. So be it, I shall hear you out, but do not expect me to make concessions to insurgents and enemies of the Empire. You step forward and introduce yourself. You remark that you are here not just as the leader of the revolt, you are the voice of Anizotte herself. The people behind you are proof of that. Gaius Tempest casts a weary glance at your envoys, recognizing many of them. I do not dispute that you have fomented rebellion throughout the city, Nicolaus Brante, but by doing so, you have also doomed it. You have assured Anizotte's destruction. I was not your enemy until you forced me to send my army against you. One step at a time, I would have changed this province. I would have made your lives better. But your revolt will soon be crushed. You have defied the entire empire. It's just a matter of time. You retort that the city is capable of withstanding many an assault. Overseer Tempest has seen that with his own eyes. Day after day, as the imperial authorities make more futile attempts to quash the Anizotte revolts, the entire province will gradually be overtaken by unrest and anarchy. These disturbances will spill over into neighbouring provinces and eventually spread throughout the empire. Is this what the Overseer wants? You and your accomplices leave me no choice, Brante. My duty as a servant of the Empire is to stamp out mutiny of any kind. Are you suggesting we make some kind of deal? That would be not only treason, but blasphemy. You remain absolutely calm as you listen to the Archdeacon's furious tirade. You know that the Overseer himself wanted to bring change to his province and the Empire at large, but he was fettered by ancient tradition and his own feud. The people had no choice but to make this change themselves. You tell him that the days of the old order and the eternal inequity of the estates are coming to an end. The ancient empire can either change or die in agony. If the Overseer is indeed devoted to his duty, he can join you and lay the foundation of this new era. Is this not what's best for the Empire and the House of Tempest? The Archdeacon nobleman hesitates. Your words have clearly resonated with him. What do you suggest I do, Brante? Become a rebel myself? You assure him that this is not at all what you're proposing. Instead, the Overseer could simply withdraw his troops and grant freedom to Anizotte and its citizens. They'll be free from their masters, free to worship as they please, and free to choose their own lots. This is what the people of Anizotte demand. All of them, regardless of their estate. The conflict will be resolved peacefully. You will not permit any violence against the nobility or the old faith clergy. In the new Anizotte, there will be a place for anyone who wishes to be free. The Overseer looks you in the eye, studying you intently. Others will follow you. I'm risking more than just my position. I'm risking all of Margra. Yes, there is a risk, but it's a risk that someone must take. Someone has to try to reform the Empire before it's slowly torn asunder by internecine feuds, social unrest, and anarchy. Gaius Tempest looks sorrowfully into the distance, where the first rays of the breaking dawn are glimmering on the horizon. Much as it pains me to say this, Brante, you're right. Even if I am in error, history will be my judge, as well as yours. By the power vested in me, I hereby declare Anizotte a free city. From this day forth, her citizens will rule over her as they see fit. May they answer to the twins for their actions. Legion, the battle is over. Marching formation. Gaius Tempest casts one final glance at the walls of Anizotte and leaps into his saddle. The Legion gets into formation and marches away from the city. Woo-hoo! You and your envoys return to the gate as the city is bathed in the dawn of a new day. Your supporters shout loudly. We won! The Overseer recognised our freedom! Long live Nicolaus Brante! All glory to the revolt! You lean against the wall and take a deep breath. Is it over? No. A new era is beginning today. You look back at the years gone by, all the difficult decisions you had to make, all the actions that helped you take your place in history. You, Nicolaus Brante, have led the revolts to victory in Anizotte. Your destiny has been fulfilled. Holy hell, I did not think that I was going to get the good ending. At all. Huh. I mean, achievement. Too late. Oh.
The revolt succeeded, and the city rejoiced in triumph. I was the one to bring the people their victory.
And I'm not the butcher. Yes. I'm going to say, if I was in the place of the twins, what would I do? I would free mortals from the lots, obviously. Obviously. If I didn't say that, this whole thing would have been for nothing. Let's see how that impacts me later on. The peace treaty you negotiated with the Overseer marked an important turning point, the beginning of a sudden change throughout the Empire. Anizotte became a free city in which all estates had equal rights. Though, still the Emperor's subjects, its citizens were free to govern the city on their own. The rebels celebrated this momentous occasion, the day they earned unimaginable freedom backed by Gaius Tempest, who represented imperial rule. The city hastily elected a council of Anizotte to govern it, each member chosen from the loyal supporters of the New Order and elected by the people. The council's very first decrees made all estates equal under the city's laws, proclaimed freedom from the lots, and named the new faith the official church of Anizotte. The noble gentry and the old clergy began to flee the city and the province, terrified and enraged by the events that had transpired. They quickly spread word throughout the Empire of the causes behind their exodus, and demanded that the Emperor hold Gaius Tempest responsible for aiding and abetting rebellion. Overseer Gaius Tempest was summoned to the capital at once. His many enemies at court demanded that every single one of Anizotte's freedoms be revoked. Only his status as the Emperor's brother made him safe from this dreadful scandal. The power struggle in the capital took quite some time. As it drew out, the news of the revolt reached even the most remote provinces. More and more towns and villages learned from the lesson of Anizotte. Their citizens began to arm themselves and join the revolt. The Imperial army began a frantic campaign to douse the flames of unrest, but it was all in vain. The Legion suffered defeat after defeat. The Imperial authorities were at a loss. The riots continued, with even the fiercest loyalists powerless to stop them. In the end, Gaius Tempest was the only one who could. He convinced his brother Uther II to grant new freedoms to the common estate. The twins trusted the Tempest dynasty to rule over the Empire wisely after all. The times were changing, and the Tempests had a choice: either change the Empire or destroy it. Prince Gerion, the heir to the throne, eagerly sided with Gaius Tempest. After a long period of uneasy deliberation, Uther II and the other Tempests announced their decision to comply with the rebels' demands. The commoners celebrated the day and hailed the Emperor, while Gaius Tempest and his allies drafted laws that would change the face of the nation. But the old rulers were loath to see their powers slip between their fingers. The enemies of change are gathering beneath their banners. They're amassing a powerful army on the edges of the capital province, determined to restore the old ways by force. 2 banners now fly above the Empire. One, that of the Imperial Legions and the armed commoners, stands for the Tempests and the change to come. The others, that of the noble militias and the dynasties of old, stands for a return to the old order. The Empire has been split in half. War is coming. Regardless of the outcome, the world will never be the same again. The common estate achieved its goals and won the rights and freedoms it sought. Liberated from the noble yoke, the people of Anizotte became a force to be reckoned with. The old restrictions imposed on industrialists and merchants of the common law were lifted. The lands and estates of the noble families that fled the city were seized. Now the citizens had to learn to govern the city and manage their lives all on their own. The coming war doesn't frighten the people of Anizotte. They're already rallying other cities in the province to their cause. They will not surrender their hard-earned freedom without a fight. The new faith has prevailed at last. Now everyone in Margra knows that the old faith is a lie, perpetuated by the church authorities to doom people to suffer in life and after death. The teachings of Isatius must be eradicated forever. New faith fanatics hunt down and judge the priests who still have the gall to preach the old faith. Everyone must undergo the new sacrament and break free of their past lot, or face death in the flames. Jesus. The changes that swept across Margra brought down the age-old barriers that held the common people back, paving way for trade and industry. The new freedoms have made Margra one of the most prosperous lands of the Empire, with new factories, mills, and trade routes appearing one after another. The city of Anizotte soon becomes a vital trade hub, the only place to procure the best and newest commodities, tools, and factory equipment. The wealth of its citizens is unrivaled throughout the Empire. After many long years of disorder and strife, the land of Margra finally found order and peace. The people grew weary of violence and turmoil of any kind. They came to respect the law and no longer fear leaving their homes. The chaos and hostility that once reigned is gone. The people of Anizotte and Margra enjoy a long-awaited age of reconciliation. The Anizotte revolt was followed by more omens that shook the Empire. In every temple throughout the Empire, the symbols of the sacrament, the lash, the sword, and the book turned to ash in an instant. The commoners' scars left by the sacramental lash all disappeared overnight, completely healed. All across the Empire, priests and laymen debated the meaning of this sign, but the twins have uttered their word. Oh man, I'm so happy. I am so happy. The Archneon commander fought with all his might against the rebellious rabble he despised, yet even a skilled swordsman such as he was doomed when confronted with a city-wide uprising. The haughty Archneon was taken prisoner by the enraged mob, and so his life was forfeit. He spent his final moments in inconceivable agony. The rebels did not permit him to die until his spirit and body were completely and utterly broken. Long after the once invincible Dorius Autumn was no more, the corpse of the mighty Archneon remained chained to the Anizotte Gate. What became of Ulrich? Once order was restored in Anizotte, the new faith declared Ulrich an enemy of the Church. Despite his power and guile, the rogue Inquisitor could not escape his well-deserved punishment. With your help, the heretic was tracked down, arrested, and executed. The Willist heresy has been stamped out forever. Augustine L. Bourne. Prefect Augustine L. Bourne's dream finally came true. The revolt gave him a chance to create a new society in Margra. He dedicated his final years to transforming his home city and province. With the aid of the former judge, the city abandoned the barbaric traditions of the nobility and established the rule of law over the people. Throughout L. Bourne's enormous contribution, the now popular governance of Anizotte grew strong, which earned him tremendous respect among the people. Prefect L. Bourne died of old age, surrounded by friends and family. He's remembered as one of the leaders of the revolt and a luminary of the New Age. Father Lennart. For the first time in centuries, the people elected their patriarch, and the twins accepted him. Patriarch Lennart became a symbol of the new faith's triumph over the old. The wise old priest dedicated the rest of his life to strengthening the alliance between the various new faith patriarchates throughout the Empire. Through his guidance, thousands found their own path to the twins. Lennart is remembered as the greatest and most eminent clergyman of his day. Jeanne. Like many other Old Believer priests, Jeanne was driven out of Anizotte. Jeanne never forgave herself for the Old Faith's death. Tormented by guilt over the temple's destruction, she swore never to offer guidance to another soul ever again. To spare herself disgrace, Jeanne abandoned the priesthood. She spent the rest of her life in voluntary exile, humbly waiting for the end to come and take her to face the twins' judgment. The Brante family! You defended the Brante home from the frenzied mob. The Brante family remained aloof from the struggle on that fateful day. Thanks to your efforts, they survived the dreadful night that followed. Once the rebellion was victorious, your family returned to life as usual. At first, the people accused them of cowardice, since no Brante helped the cause of the revolt. I was literally leading the revolt. But the family never sided with the Legion either. Their honour remained untarnished, and your status in the New Order kept them safe. The family survived every ordeal and finally found peace. Thank God! They've died enough. Robert Brante. In the years that followed, Robert Brante deeply regretted not believing in the revolt or supporting its cause. He decided not to take sides, and in the end, he was left by the wayside. When the revolt prevailed, your father became a judge again, now elected by the people, and helped the city codify a new, just code of law. Robert Brante continued to play his own humble part in city's life until the end, and its people remember him as an honest and honourable judge. Lydia Brante. Lydia Brante always believed in the ways of the Empire and the Old Faith. She could never come to terms with the New Order. She remained dismissive of the New Faith until the end of her days, and continued to live by the commoner's lot. Oh, Lydia. Your mother was persistent in her efforts to return you to the Old Faith, and constantly reminded you of what awaited you at the foot of the pillar. She never understood why you did what you did. Your mother remained a pious old believer, even as the world around her moved away from the Old Faith. When the end came, she departed to the twins' final judgment without fear. That's upsetting. Gloria. When the revolt prevailed against all odds, Gloria was not able to contribute to its great victory. She bitterly regretted her inaction, but she still worked with you to help build the new order in Anizotte. Your sister dedicated her life to educating the common folk and uniting the city during the dawn of its new age. Gloria's relentless quill became mightier than any sword. Her passionate poems and ardent articles quickly spread throughout Anizotte, championing the cause of social equality and freedom from the lots. Gloria Brante was remembered as the first poet of the common folk and the harbinger of a new age. Nathan, your younger brother survived the revolts. When it passed, he found the strength to start his life anew. You had given him a glimmer of hope that he nurtured within his soul, and one day that spark brought him to the doorstep of the Temple of the New Faith. Free to choose his own lot, Nathan became a priest and dedicated his life to serving the twins. He left his aimless past behind and finally found a purpose. The suffering he had endured in his spirit quest became the source of wisdom. Nathan's renown as a New Faith preacher quickly grew, and he helped hundreds of tormented souls find their way to the twins. Okay, so it's still a good ending for Nathan. What became of me? You were elected by the people to the Council of Anizotte, along with the other leaders of the revolts. It was a heavy burden to bear, but it was necessary in order to overcome the city's challenges on the path to building a new society. And so you devoted the rest of your life to preserving the freedoms you had won and building a new and just order in Anizotte. The people of the Empire came to see you as the greatest champion of the New Faith. Through you, the teachings of Fotis finally assumed a dominant role in the Empire. A new, special order of believers was formed at your behest to carry the true doctrine to other cities, towns, and villages throughout the Empire. You are remembered as the liberator of Anizotte and an apostle of the New Faith, in equal to Patriarch Fotis himself. So ends the life and suffering of Nicolaus Brante. It's taken me 30 odd hours to finally get a peaceful ending, but I did it. I mean, fully peak of the pillar, like no doubt, peak of the pillar. Oh man, we did it. I didn't think this was going to be the playthrough where I got the good ending. Because this is a good ending. I mean, not for the old faith, it's a real bad ending for the old faith. But for the new faith, this is just wonderful. Wonderful. I got carried away with this one. I had no intention of doing this in one video, but it just kind of happened. I've been recording for 4.5 hours. My throat hurts. I'm hungry. This is good. This was good. I was very, 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 very happy with how this has turned out. Like I said, I was not expecting this to be the playthrough where I got a peaceful ending, but I'm so glad I did. So that is all of the Faith run-throughs done. I had made a note of the La-Tari that I wanted to do that, but we've done that now. We did that in this one, which was good. I wasn't expecting that. Which means the next playthrough is going to be Nobility. And I am going to have to be a dick. I'm basically going to have to be Stefan. Which means Sweet Gloria, she ain't got no chance of becoming a Brante. Everything is going to have to be for the Brante family, either reputation or money. I'm going to need to look at the unity as well. Try and balance that. I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. That one, I think because we're going to start again on that one, is going to be at least 2 parts, probably 3 parts. Until then, if you want to check this out for yourself, then the link to the game page is in the description. If there's any routes that you want to see me take or any kind of little bits you're interested in seeing, then let me know. Leave me a comment and I will look out for them. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to everyone who's been commenting on these, because you are wonderful people. If you've enjoyed this video, then why don't you go ahead and hit the like button. The peaceful winds of change that is the subscribe button. Make sure you that bad boy. And until next time, love you, bye.